Well, folks, it's not full in the pool, but rather it's bubbles. Coach, do you like bubbles better than full in the pool?
I'm going to refrain from what I really want to say. I come to the baseball game to take a bubble bath. Figure that one out.
Life is great when it can be bubblicious. Oh, yes. Bubblicious.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there, wherever you may be tuning in, and welcome to another episode of 757 Sports Talk on Cobra Sports TV with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. We've turned the calendar to the best month of the year. It's August. Somebody was born in August. I wonder who it was. Still got the lovely background with the water. And Coach, we have a jam-packed show for all of the folks out there today. It's guest loaded. It's news loaded. I'm sure you want to rant about the courts and the NCAA. I'm sure you want to rant about the trading deadline and who your team needs, as if everybody else's team doesn't matter. And Tarek Skubal getting dealt, Mason Miller doesn't matter. It is football. Training camps have opened. I'm sure you are locked into the 8+ hours of coverage wall-to-wall on ESPN and NFL Network today with all of that. I know you have some big plans this week involving the Realm Ball, but so much is happening. Oh, by the way, I got you beat. I got my OJ this morning. Good OJ. How are you, sir?
Just when you think you know the answer, I changed the question. It's a grapefruit. Not grapefruit. Grape juice. Grape juice kind of morning.
Wow. What made you swap it out for grape juice?
I just decided to go something different because I know you would try to match me with the orange OJ, which is a good choice, but I'm going grape today. Goes nicely with the bubble bath I had the other night at the Tides game.
Hey, we got to get out of the shoot before we forget. And I also know you want to chime in on Bill Belichick and Mike Lombardi in North Carolina too. And by the way, we're going to talk all things college football, not UNC related, with Phil Steele coming up. The Guru joins us today in the 11 o'clock hour. Oh, yeah, he wants to talk about Notre Dame. Why do you make it all? It's always about your teams. It's never about the audience's teams. We might have a fan out there of Kent State. Oh, there's that stupid. Oh, you got your name on the back, too. Oh, can I go vomit? Why do you always refer to Yankees, Notre Dame, Celtics, Steelers, Raiders? Well, the Raiders are angry. I mean, you're just a front line, what you are. Ugh.
Stick with the best, baby. Stick with the best. Hey, real quick. Go
ahead. And I want to get to our first guest of the morning. Go ahead. What you got? Oh,
Tides. I got Tide tickets. Free. Two Tides tickets. These things cost hundreds of dollars. It's the great seats. If you watch the opening.
Oh, they better not be nosebleed seats.
2 tickets. And all you have to do is chime in today. Say hello. I'm here. And say if you want the tickets. Now, don't get on here. Get the tickets and then don't go tonight because I will get discombobulated if I don't get these used up. But they're tonight.
It's a big word.
Fireworks. Bring your date, bring your wife or your girlfriend. You can't bring them both because only 2 tickets. So let us know today. Hop on here, say hello, whatever. Just chime in.
You went discombobulated as opposed to lambruced, which is one of your favorite words.
Yeah, I get lambruced I want to make sure I can't use these tonight. I've got a prior commitment, so I won't be able
to. It means you got a date. Is that what it means?
No, it's the old school Suffolk Old School Classic today.
You do have that.
The alumni of John Yates, Forrest Glenn, John F. Kennedy, and the greatest Suffolk school of all time, Suffolk High School, have their alumni games. And then tonight is a get-together. Okay. And I will be in the get-together.
You'll be in the get-together. You won't be coaching, but you'll be in the get-together.
No, I'm not coaching. They didn't listen back then. Why would they listen now in their 30s, 40s, and 50s? So
this is true. This is true. Hey, before
Woody,
you
I see Woody joined in. Woody, you have any interest in trying to win the tickets? All you got to do is say yes. You don't got to answer no questions, nothing else. If you don't, then don't say anything because I ain't gonna put your name in a hat.
I don't know. And by the way, before we get to and I know you want to talk about Lombardi and Belichick before we bid adieu, we did run into a friend of ours at the baseball game, and that is longtime Daily Press reporter, and he's last worked with William and Mary, but he's just an overall great guy. DJ Dave Johnson, as he was all smiles because not only did his Worcester Red Sox beat the Tides, his Boston Red Sox beat the Dodgers last night, and they're red hot on the heels of Yankees. And you see, when we said we had the camera say 1, 2, 3, Yankees suck, and we both smiled. Ed's kind of like, mouths half open, kind of shocked that we would say that. So that's how we got that for the picture. There you go. Good to see DJ though at the ball game.
Yeah, it was.
We actually had people don't know this. This is what we do at ball games. We actually do the lookalike thing. We're trying to find lookalikes. And I thought John Castleberry, longtime sportscaster and Tides announcer, you're laughing. I thought it was him in the next section over to DJ. So I was 1 for 2 on my guesses. It's 1 for 2 on my guesses. And I'm going to bring back the lookalike contest. I promise you it's going to happen. Because the other night I'm watching the baseball game. After that game, Mariners and Dodgers, and I see, the pitcher Brian Wu? Brian Wu, right? You know who who Brian Wu's lookalike is? Lou Diamond Phillips, the actor. Pull them next to each other. Yeah, we're going to bring the lookalike contest back. You and De Niro lost in the Final Four, right? You remember who you lost to?
Yeah, I think we lost to Coach Harris and
Rick Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Rick Ross.
Yeah, you got beat. That's what happens sometimes, He beat you twice that year, I guess, because you lost on the half-court shot. I hate to bring up bad subject.
That's true.
Too, Woody says he's interested in the ticket, so maybe they're his before anybody else. There you go. Hit Ed hit Coach Young with a private message there on the social media before we do a bit of do. But hey, our first special guest of the morning, you know him as one of our favorites. He is known across the basketball world as Super E. They have the Hampton Roads Pro-AM. There he is, longtime Georgetown Ahoya fan, Indian River High School graduate, interacted with him on the show. And I love his first comment before he even comes on. Over/under of Coach Young hitting the pool before the end of summer. I'm going to say under, E. He is a hater.
Oh, man.
Full segments. That's just him. He's a hater.
Come on now. We got to have it, Coach. How you doing this morning, man?
Hey, E, it was good to see you. Good to have you on. I like that Hoyas jersey. It brings me back to those days when Georgetown was so dominant under Coach Thompson and the Big East wars that we really don't see a lot much anymore to the point where they're ready to do a little fisticuffing like I would like to do to this knucklehead here sometimes. E, fooling the pool is driving us all crazy. It's under federal investigation to get it pulled. I know you like it, and I respect you, and I guess somehow he got you duped because him breaking in, he jumps over the fence when they're not at home, and he jumps in the pool like he owns the doggone place. And then I use the term lightly, jokes.
Come on. You should see the number of emojis I get that sent to me when we do them daily. You should. I'll share them with you next time, and just drive you even crazier.
It's summertime, man. You gotta love the pool at least for a little while you can, because it'll be cold. It'll be cold. It'll be wintertime before you know it. Fall and winter before you know it.
We have to be able to jump into it all we can. But let's talk about what we can jump into this week. That's some basketball. Ed's going to the old school classic tonight, but you got basketball wall to wall this weekend at Norview High School for folks that want to check it out. Looks like the game start today at 12 noon. Instead of giving us the roster rundown, kind of give us the overview. James Flood and you have been doing this for a long time. What is the mastermind behind it? You're his brainchild and assistant, if you will, Robin to his back, whatever you want to call it. But tell us about just the genesis of it and what the folks will see if they've never been, and what makes you come back every year to do this.
Sure. In short, the NCAA sets guidelines each year on how many hours you can practice your Division I guys. It's not 15 hours, 25. It's close to like 8 hours a week, which uses like Monday to Thursday of practice time. So outside of that, you send your guys to a certified league. Flood has, finished up the paperwork with Indianapolis NCAA, and we're back with season 21. It's crazy to say that. So in short, the Seven Cities Pro-AM is a structured summer league, under NCAA guidelines, college league we have put together.
Good stuff. Now, some of the talent. People are always curious about some of the names.
Oh,
you've
yeah.
seen. Give us some of the main contributors.
Yeah, I got like 7 or 8 names to run down real quick for you. You got to start with the MVP of a year ago, Jamari Garnett. He spent I'm sorry, I'm looking at my screen over here. He spent 2 seasons with Virginia Union. He had about 26 points per game with our league. He's at about 22 this season. Downhill kid, can shoot, dunk, pass, do everything player. That's Jamari Garnett from Virginia Union. Let's go on to Norfolk State's highest rated recruit ever, 4-star, Jordan Skyers from New York City. ISO type of kid, in and out, can pass, but he likes to score. He's going to do a lot of scoring, and Robert Jones has done a good job going back into New York City again and grabbing some talent. Moving on, we got Lamont Stewart, 6'6", from BWC, Baton alum, veteran presence on his group, steady, dependable. He's about 15 points a game with our league this year. Jawan Browder is a guard from Elizabeth City State, one of the top scorers in our league, and he's looking to give John Richardson a boost down at Elizabeth City this coming year. All right, moving on, we got Clint Wright Jr. He's another top scorer in our league. He's the son of a coach, and that means a lot. He's dependable. He's born into the game, hasn't missed any time, and just loves putting on a showcase for the fans. Moving on, Keon Fats Mitchell. He's playing in his own gym. He's state champion. He's comfortable, gets to the cup. Another freshman with Robert Jones over at Norfolk State, and he's playing well. He's also a top scorer in the league. And then finally, we have George Beal from UCF, Suffolk product, about 21 points a game, crafty, doesn't do anything outside of himself, streaky, one of the best scorers around. I'll tell you something, the first week, Beal came into the gym and he's wearing his all black UCF gear, and you see the eyes of the other guys. It's like, hey, this guy's coming to put in some work. One of the best players around, and we're just happy to have Beal with us this season. Yeah, those are some of our top guys.
A lot of guys you used to go head-to-head with there, Ed, and the Beals and the Clint Wright Juniors of the world. So some players you're familiar with as well as we chat with Super Eric Rogers. The Hampton Roads Cities Pro-AM taking place this weekend. They have the playoffs and championship tomorrow over there at Norview High School in Norfolk. Games today, 12 o'clock, 1:15, 2:30, and 3:45. Going over there and also give E and the Pro-Am a follow on the IG, the Twitter, the X, and all that good stuff here on Sunday.
Man, we got to apologize to you, Matt. Yep. Flood doesn't quite have the bracket for tomorrow set. We have we have 2 teams. We have 3 teams with the same 2-1 record. So we need today to shake out and kind of break that up a little bit, and then we're going to have the bracket posted. Hopefully an hour or 2 hours after we complete everything today. But yeah, we got a couple teams tied up with the same record. So he didn't want to do a phony bracket. So we just want to put it together the right way and let those teams just play themselves out with today's schedule.
No problem at all. Makes a lot of sense. Ed's just trying to plan his morning and day commute after church to get on over there tomorrow. So
come on over, man. Whenever you can. We're going to have about 5 games tomorrow. They're going to finish the playoffs all in one day, kind of like AAU style. We've been doing this for the past maybe like 3 years or so, and it's kind of worked out. It's about 4 or 5 games. You win 2 or 3 games in the final, and then just wrap it on up.
Good deal. Coach?
I see. Matt was telling me, he said, hey, championships are Sunday. We got to go. And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't the league just start? So do you have a time restriction on the amount of playing? I know guys got to go back to maybe their.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's why. Okay.
Great point. So one thing we kind of got jammed up with how the 4th of July fell this year. You have to abide by, the city of Norfolk lets us in the gym, doesn't let us in the gym. 4th of July was on like a Friday or something like that. So that took away that whole weekend. They weren't going to, have their folks come in and work on throughout that holiday. And then you have the NCAA that says we have to be done on that, first weekend of August, so players can get back to wherever they're going and back to their offices and stuff, back to their campuses. So we kind of tighten the window. That's why we usually don't go on Saturdays. So we're going on Saturday, so we get those 4 games for everybody, and going Saturday, Sunday. So you're still getting the same. You're still getting 4 games in a playoff, just kind of condensed together this year.
Good stuff.
And now, do you also have? I know the NCAA had restrictions where college kids in the summer can only a certain amount of players from the same team could be on one team. In other words, you couldn't use it for Division I. Is that still true?
Yeah, it's still same for Division I. It's 2 per team, and then you have to just go 2, 2, 2. You can't have slide in 3 or anything like that. It's 2. We we've been keeping up with that for the past few years.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Chatting with Super Eric Rogers, he of the Hampton Roads Cities Pro-AM, our guest on 757 Sports Talk on Cove Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, games taking place all weekend long over there at Norview High School in Norfolk. Last thing for me, and I guess that'll finish up with you because I'm going to let you run to get over there to the gym today, and we got some more guests coming on. But how is this for you in helping Flood with this? How has it changed, I guess, the pros, the cons? I mean, you're a basketball junkie, so you love it. I know it's the answer to why you keep doing it. But how's it kind of changed for you in terms of whether it be the rules, regulations, and just the, having the players there? Because I know in doing my own tournaments, there's always, last minute changes that can happen and throw you for a loop, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, Matt. Whenever you run a basketball event of any like particular size, you're going to deal with, guys getting hurt in practice during the week. Basketball office says he can't go. He can go. Nobody's going this week. You have no shows. Guys, they're getting paid now, so they could be. I looked at the guy's Instagram. He was in Texas. You have to deal with a lot of stuff, a lot of hurdles, and you just plug and paste the best that you can. But I'm a junkie, man. I've Flood's 21 years. I've been with him for about 12. Just like being here and helping out any way I can. And I just love being in the gym.
Really, really cool. It shows he's, as we mentioned, Ed, he's a proud Indian River Brave alum during the era of Alonzo Mourning. You were how many years behind, or were you with Zoe?
Alonzo's. I'm 3 years behind Alonzo. His senior year, I was a JV freshman.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, great appreciation for the lineage of hoops in the 757 and beyond. The thing I like too, Coach, and I know you do too, is that the connections from the 757. It's deep, but it also touches other parts of the region, state, and even other neighboring states, the DCs and Carolinas, which is really cool that your Pro-Am incorporates too in this.
Yep.
Well, and my thing with Super E, every time we go to a game, college game, usually Eric's there, and then the thing that makes me jealous, you're at so many big events of games, some big games, and you're traveling a lot. It's almost kind of like player personnel director.
And that's a title that Flood threw on me, player personnel, basically. We get out to, oh man. Well, I didn't get to 100 games, but I maybe, if you go to 2 games a week and then you're in a place where you can get to like 2 games on a weekend, that's 4 games in a week. Mm-hmm. And that, I've been with, our guy Lamar Barrett, and we've been in a town where you can go to a game on at noon, 4, and 7. It's like, it's doable. It's not out of the woods. People think we're crazy when we spit stuff out like that, but you can actually do it. You can, and then months go by and you're up to like 75. I think he tapped out at about 140 or so games. His schedule's relentless, but you can do it. It's doable.
Oh no, listen, E. I mean, this is why. I mean, you love the college basketball Saturdays. We get that. I do it, with my Virginia Preps Classic in the past. You can see a showcase. You can see 7, 8 high school games in a day, or college games in a day. And even the year that Ed took his sabbatical, his 1 year hiatus from coaching, I'm busy also watching games on the computer, online at home, calling women's basketball games, college games, and Ed's bugging me every night. What game we going to? Because we had to get Ed back on the sidelines. We couldn't deal with him anymore. He was he was outdoing us going to games.
With this new age of like streaming games, I'd say, "Hey Matt, where are you tonight?" And Matt's in his lab and he has like
4 games at once.
20 games up from, Northern Virginia out in the western part of the state. So the technology now has enabled you to attend a ton of games. Like whether you're home or you could be on a site and still have games going through your phone, or scores going through your phone. So it's really like broaden everything. But before I run, I wanted to get Coach Young's thoughts on the Colorado ruling from overnight, man. With these, it's just the Wild West out here now. You have agents making deals, agents running teams, coaches in the dark, ADs in the dark. And my thing is, I just don't know how you're going to be able to, how do you reel that back in? I don't know if you can.
Well, real quickly, E, before we get Ed's take on that, because there are some that are unfamiliar with it, we'll have it scroll across the ticker now. Last night, it broke what you're talking about, the Colorado ruling that a federal court, the NCAA's new eligibility rule, allowing the high school class of 2022 that had their 4th season of eligibility exhausted, they're going to now let them have that extra year back to play. And this could go in the court. I was talking with someone last night about it. It could be like Charles Bediako from Alabama, Ed, where he ends up coming back to play. Somebody's got to come back to play. And then another judge says, oh, we're pulling the plug on this. This whole thing has become chaotic to where Danny Hurley put up a tweet last night from UConn that called this a blank show. And you can fill in the blank of what his blank was. So,
fill in the blank.
Ed, I'm sure you could go on for 20 minutes, but try to keep it as short as we can before we bring Jerome Mathis on, former NFL All-Pro.
Well, I was going to ask E. That was going to be my next question. E is he gets out to see so many games, knows so many players. How has the landscape of the change and the money and NIL deals and pay for play and all that? What he thought? Now he's asking me, and I'm not going to go crazy with this because, in a sense, it's become a joke. You're going to have these guys, class of 22, think now they can play. Well, first of all, somebody's going to have to want you. And to put a stop on a lot of this BS, like the NIL, that came about because of the O'Bannon rule. Ed O'Bannon at UCLA was like, hey, I see my jersey being my name on a jersey. I see my image on the big billboards in Los Angeles. I don't get a dime for that. What's going on? And that's how the NIL came about, where national image and likeness, if you're going to use it, you got to pay them. And I said, I got an easy way to take care of all that mess. Don't use their image. Stop selling jerseys with their name on it. Just put a number. They don't own the number. Don't put their name on a jersey. Well, they ain't going to sell then. Well, tell the people they can go ahead and put the guy's name on a jersey. That'll take care of NIL deals, so to speak.
Coach, you got guys from Greece. You got guys in the Euro League. You got guys that are in the NBA draft and played in the spent time in the G League. It's wide open, man.
Now, and they're going to want to come back because they're getting paid. If they weren't getting paid because the schools have to give up some of that revenue money, they wouldn't even think about coming back and playing. Now they're going to. And there'll be some colleges that will take those guys because they can probably still play some, and they'll take them. It's just, you got this judge saying that judge this judge that. It's so out of hand, E. I'm not sure there's anybody smart enough, lawyers included, to reel it in and say, this is going to be the rule, and there is no judge and some small claims court in Minnesota that can come out here and change it. But until that happens.
Do you know there are agents getting rich now? They're making more money with the college players than they are with the NBA guys?
Which is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is. Yeah, because they're representing more players.
Right.
So they're getting less, so to speak. They don't have some of the big names, a couple big names, but they got a whole lot of kids that are eligible for some money, and they're getting a percentage of that money.
Right.
And they don't care so much about the rules as opposed to their clients getting paid. And that in itself is a major issue.
Well, and some of these players are making more to stay in college basketball or college football than to go professionally, which is
They'd be making more with here on the roster than they would be in the G League. They're hanging around.
Well, we just mentioned it last night. I sent it to Ed. We did the PIT on TVE, as you know, the Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. There were 2 players, Jalen Washington of Vanderbilt and AJ Storr of Ole Miss, that played in the PIT that are going back to college. We had that a couple years ago with AJ Hogard, who played at Michigan State and Vanderbilt. But now it's not even like it's, oh my gosh, he's the answer to a trivia question. Now it's almost becoming commonplace. We're going to have 2, 3, 4 guys every year do that. But we could spend hours and hours. One last thing I do want to get before you mentioned about streaming. Is that something you and Flood have talked about in the future, maybe perhaps? Because, again, you have people that want to watch this from all over that are in the 7x7. Is that something you guys have discussed in the future, perhaps, because technology is so neat and some people want to see how it's doing? Or it could be, like you mentioned, it could be somebody's agent, a relative, or a coach, somebody that wants to see their player. Is that something you guys have explored in the future, perhaps?
Yeah, it's got to be explored because the technology and the way people are absorbing games is not going to change. We just got to put some pennies together. That's the main point. That's the main deal. Because nobody's going to film for free, nobody's going to stream for free. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Well, going out there and support it this weekend. Norview High School. Playoffs tomorrow. Again, follow the IGs, the Twitters, the different places you can get the information. He will have it out there later today with the schedule for tomorrow. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and always a pleasure. And when you get a chance, get a break, take a dip in the pool. It won't be too bad. You can make Ed shake his head.
Thanks so much, guys, all the time, man. Thank you, guys.
And it's Super Eric Rogers with us here from the Hampton Roads 7 Cities Pro-Am. We've got more coming your way here on this edition. Oh, look who just chimed in watching. Big time people. No, we're not big time. We don't get to go to Vegas and Monte Carlo and Mozambique like that guy. But Super E and him, they're big time people. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Mozambique. When are we gonna get to Mozambique at? I don't know. Hey, guess who we got coming up next? We had one special guest. We got our special guest for you. We got Phil Steele coming up later. But when we return here on 757 Sports Talk, he's a former All-Pro return man, Hampton University, the real HU as some say. He's an alum of the school he's coaching right now, the Petersburg Crimson Wave. You know what they did on the hardwood, and their football team, if you didn't hear about it last year, had a heck of a year, got to the region championship against Lake Taylor, the eventual state champs, and they're back for more here in 2026. That's Jerome Mathis, who will join us after the break right here on 757 Sports Talk. And where are they watching it, Coach?
It's right here on Kova Sports TV. Like, share, subscribe.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to Joke Time. Why aren't koalas considered bears? Because they don't have the proper qualifications.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back to 757 Sports Talk, powered by Cobra Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield, and Ed, we have a special guest with us. He is in his second year at the helm of the Petersburg Crimson Waves. He is a former All-Pro return man in the National Football League, started at Hampton University. We say hello and good morning to Coach Jerome Mathis. Coach, thanks for stopping by. How's life treating you here as we turn the calendar from July to August, your month here as we're getting ready for this season?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Everything's going pretty good. We're right on pace, on track where we need to be. Everybody's excited. Last year is behind us. We're looking forward to bigger and better things this year, and we're ready to get after it.
Well, I teased it earlier in the bio. A lot of people know you from the 804 and the 757. You played in the National Football League. You're from Petersburg. All-Pro in 2005 with the Houston Texans. You set records. I think you still hold the record for kickoff returns with 6 in an NCAA career at Hampton University for touchdowns. Tell the folks what it was like for you growing up, Petersburg, Virginia. Now you're back coaching there to do what you did, accomplished, and then get a chance to come back to your alma mater and coach there. What that's been like for you, just your journey.
It's an honor to be able to do this. Especially with the career that I had, very short, but I enjoyed every single moment of it. And for me to be able to come back and do this with these kids and try to show them the way things have to be done and make sure that they don't make the same mistake that you make in life, it's a blessing.
Now we're going to get you up as our main premise to talk about your football team for this year and some of the key guys and what's ahead, the outlook. But going back to your days at Petersburg, when you put on that uniform, what number did you wear, by the way?
28. I was a Warwick Dunn fan growing up.
Warwick Dunn, okay, 28. When you put on a 28, I know all, and I've interviewed so many kids when they have dreams of playing the NFL. But when did you really know, be it in your high school career, your college career, like that you could do this at the highest level? And you obviously had a gift, which was your speed. But when did you kind of know, all right, I really have a chance at this?
I think in high school, my ambition and drive to always want to win, to be the elite competitor made me stand out from everyone else.
Good deal. Ed?
Coach, the thing I got asked what comes to mind when Matt said we're having you on, and you made a lot of your mark in special teams. And I always look at guys that do great in special teams. They're a whole nother breed. There's got to be something going on between the ears that nobody else has, because you as a kick returner, you're catching the ball. You got to watch the ball, but here's come people at you. And then it's, here we go. A civil war starts again, and you got to maneuver through people looking to take your head off. Everybody trying to get the crunch hit of the week to get on ESPN or whatever. And I always say, man, they couldn't pay me enough to do that craziness. People throwing bodies. Obviously, not only were you did it, you excelled at it. Give us that take of what goes through a returner's mindset, especially at the NFL with guys 260, 270, running a 4.4, and they're coming after you as hard as possible. I got to hear this one.
In my mind, the first thing I'm thinking is I'm going to score, of course. The likelihood of you scoring every time you touch it, it's like a 2 to 3%. So you have to make sure that you always prepare mentally and physically when you're out there doing the special teams. But first and foremost, they call it special teams for a reason. I'll say that. But as you catching the ball and you start to run, it's hit or be hit. And it doesn't make it any easier when you're one of the fastest people out there. So it's kind of hard for those big guys to hit you. But then you also have to factor in this guy's running very fast. Like, how is this impact going to affect the person that's going to take the impact?
Well, I'm curious to know, and I'm sure Coach will get an appreciation following this up as a longtime basketball coach in our states, coach college ball too. You have the few great years of the Houston Texans. You played with Washington, played with Toronto Argonauts, Pittsburgh Power, and as everybody likes to say, eventually the air goes out of the ball. When did you know, either during your playing career as it was happening, unfolding, or after it, that I'm going to get into coaching? When did it kind of hit you like, all right, that's the next part of my journey and story?
I think, say back in 2016, I started coming back around football, and I would go out and watch the high school practice and play their games. And guy that coached me on my way out of high school my last year, Mike Scott, was the head coach then. He was back, and I just wanted to be a part of it. So he let me just come around and give advice and give input here and there on things, and it kind of made me want to get back into football again. And here I am, this amount of many years later, and I'm just it's going very good. It's emotional at times, you know. I get a little emotional at times. I also wow myself at times, like, you know, I really did this. I really can do this.
Yeah, and it's come full circle, Ed, for Coach Scott, because you mentioned his coach, Mike Scott. Now he's coaching his son, Michael, on this Petersburg Crimson Wave football team that's coming off a heck of a season, 9-4 a year ago, making the Region 3A finals, fell to eventual state champion Lake Taylor. Now they're getting ready for this 2026 campaign. He's our guest here on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV, Ed.
Well, Coach, obviously, anybody gets in the field, like as myself, we have people that we kind of look up to. You just mentioned Coach Scott for you. Is there some other guys in your journeys that you kind of say that come to mind when you have put your philosophy together, your X and O together, that you kind of look up to as to how they did it or why they did it?
Most definitely. I would say my high school coach, Coach Remus James. He's made a big impact on the way I do things. My mentor, Kerry Gray, as well. As far as like on the professional level, I really sat back and studied like the way Andre Johnson used to compete and work as well. You know, you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to try new things. You know, so I watched Andre Johnson a lot when I was out there playing with him. And then once I got out of football, I just became a huge Tom Brady fan, man. I studied everything Tom Brady would do, his mindset and his preparation for the game. And I kind of used that philosophy to bring this back, to bring it back to coaching with my team and my players now. I kind of use all of those, combine all of those together. My college coach as well, Joseph Taylor, can't forget about him. All of those guys played a role in who I am today and the way I do approach things.
A lot of special names there. You hear Kerry Gray, longtime minister there at Petersburg. We know about, of course, Andre Johnson had a heck of a career in the National Football League. And the other thing I think we glossed over a little bit here, Coach, before we dig into your team here, which we're about to do, was were you a 6-time state champion in track at Petersburg?
I think it was a little more than that. I lost count.
Was it more than that?
When you get accustomed to winning, you just stop. You stop counting.
Stop counting. Well, there's some truth to that. You lose sight of how many rings you have, but your speed was definitely a gift. There's no denying that. Tell me about some of the guys on this football team that are pretty fast. I know you can still beat them in the 40 though.
I wish, man. Those kids give me a run for my money every day mentally, so I know I can't mess with them physically. This team right here is going to be a special group here, man. Last year was my first group. They always hold a special place in my heart. But these guys right here, these are the guys that I've been around since they were 8th and 9th graders. So they'll be very special to me. We got a lot of talent on this team, a lot of talent. Guys that can run, can catch, can throw, can come up and make big hits. We can start with the quarterback, who's the leader of the team, Kimani Peoples. We put him in last year, the last game of the season. Just wanted to see what he could do and if he was ready to take on a starting role, because we knew coming to the next season he was going to be our guy we focused on. He did very well, held his own the last game of the season, and the 3 games he played in the playoffs. Came up a little bit short against Lake Taylor, but the future is very bright for him. He'll be a two-way guy for us, going starting at quarterback and starting at cornerback. And we'll try to match him up against some of the premier receivers when we have to. Running back room is packed. We have a 3-headed monster. Of course, we have Keon Ridley, who's our returning starter from last year. We have our freshman sensation, Giante Lewis, who came in and took over once Keon got hurt. He carried us through the back end of the season. I want to say he probably had about 400 or 500 yards with 5 touchdowns as a freshman. Didn't start the first 5 games up there with us. We ended up bringing him up. So for him to step into that role and carry the team the way he did, it says a lot about his ceiling and his potential. Then we have a transfer coming in from another school, Javion Hill Jackson. And he's a bruiser, very electrifying runner, can punish. He runs very hard. We're excited to see the things that he can do and what he brings to the running back room. So all three of those guys you'll see back there this year. They're going to tote the ball. We're going to run the ball. We're going to pass it. But, if you can run the ball, you can win a lot of football games. O-line wise, we only lost one senior last year. So we had a very young offensive lineman, and it was one senior and all sophomores. Joseph Massacor, our only senior, he's playing at Virginia Union now on a scholarship. And the four returning guys, they'll come back. They got a lot of experience playing together all the way down from the JV up to now. So we're excited to see what this O-line can do on their junior year, especially with a lot of games under their belt. Wide receiver room, we have Demarion Moss, who's our number one, about 6'2", 6'3", 190 pounds, can run like a gazelle. Very, very, very good top end and back end speed. Very good at tracking the ball. Great hands. On the opposite side of him, we have Javari Mallory, who's a guy that nobody kind of really knows about, but they'll find out about real soon. He's a guy who just works hard, and continues to get better and better. And he's actually becoming one of the top guys on our team now with his offseason that he's had. Third receiver, we have Joshua Beasley Jr., who transferred in from Matoka. This is a kid that I've watched play his entire life. Love seeing him go out there and compete. He reminds me a lot of myself with his will to just compete and never wanting to lose, never complaining, his never give up attitude. People think he's a little small, but he has the heart of a lion, I would say, man. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And then the fourth person at our receivers, our all-state tight end, Jalen Ray. Jalen Ray is like our Swiss Army knife, and he can do it all. Catch passes, can block, can run, can throw. Anything you ask him to do on the offensive side, he can do. So we're gonna showcase him a lot too as well. He didn't make first team All-State for no reason. So offensive side, like I said, we're pretty stacked. Defensively, we lost our key guy, Xavier Scott, but I feel like with the experience that we have with this group of guys, because of how young they were, we're going to be a better defense overall. And typically, you want your defense to be the strong point of your team because defense wins championships, like they say. So up front, we have Uriah Avens at the defensive end. He's a guy that came in, had a very great year last year, and he's coming into his own, taking on more of a leadership role now. So I'm expecting to see some exciting things from him. In the middle, we have we call him a freshman. We call him freshman, but he's a sophomore now. But once you get that nickname, it kind of sticks with you. So we have Samaj Harris, aka freshman. He's going to come in and play defensive tackle for us, and sophomore with a very high ceiling. Decided to pull him up to varsity last year because I knew this year I was going to need him a whole lot more than ever. So we need to get him ready for varsity as fast as possible. He's still young, a bit raw, but he has this work ethic, man, and never give up mentality as well. Beside him, we have Kamari Walker, who transferred in from Matoka. This is a guy that's very instinctive, very, very instinctive. Reads his keys very well, tracks the ball very well, can follow it when the run is going away from him. So he's a bit on the finesse side, but he knows how to do. He knows how to do what he knows how to do very well, I should say. Outside of him, we have Tamarian Pope at the opposite end. He's a guy that can play like a hybrid, can play linebacker, can play D end. So had a very great season last year too. For some reason, he's always around the ball causing turnovers, or if it is a turnover, he's picking it up, trying to run it back for a touchdown. So we lean on that front four very hard. Behind them with the linebackers, we have Micah Scott, who's our returning guy, of course. Micah Scott is like a wrecking ball. He just likes to come up and crash out. I call him a crash out at times. He comes up and he's going to hit you as hard as he can. And if he hurts himself, he'll lay there for a second, but he's going to get up and be ready to go in a few minutes. Beside him, we have Rashawn Johnson Jr., who transferred in from another school. He's a freshman. Well, he's a rising sophomore, I should say. But he's a very good kid, man. I watched this kid play football in his youth league days, and seeing him develop and grow up from youth league to where he is now, I can say that the ceiling is very high for him too. He's about 6'3". He's 6'3", 230. So he's a bigger size linebacker, but his instincts for tracking the ball and being around the ball on a pass situation, along with being able to stop the run, says a lot for how he can move and how mobile he is. Beside him, we have Jalen Ray on the defensive side. Jalen Ray can probably play any position on his defense. Again, Swiss Army knife. If we want to put him at DN, we want to put him at backer, we want to put him at safety, if we want to put him at D-line, anywhere, he can play it. He has a high football IQ, man, especially on the defensive side. I feel like he's a better defensive player than he is offensively. He just has to be willing to step into that role and accept the leadership role as well on the defensive side. In the secondary, we have two returning starters. That would be Kimani Peoples, the quarterback. He's going to be playing the corner for us. He was all first team all region last year at the cornerback position. Came in and, like I said, we match him up against the best receiver at certain times. Games on the line, we need to stop. He's going to be the guy that we're going to match up on your best receiver. Keon Ridley's the safety, our starting running back as well. He comes over to the defensive side and he plays very well. Studies the game like a professional, really. Like if you see this kid's notebook when it comes to taking notes, you'll think this kid has already played on a professional level. Because he takes notes in ways that I didn't learn until I got onto the professional level. So seeing him back there as safety, he studies the game very instinctive. So he makes a lot of plays around us, makes a lot of plays for us when he can get around the ball. Two newcomers to the secondary. We have Terrell Bailey Jr., who transferred in from Prince George. He's a rising sophomore, very young. Very athletic, very raw, but the ceiling is very high for him, and he's a coachable kid and wants to be better every single rep. Likes to come out and compete every single rep. Then the newest guy another new guy we have is Christopher Gathers. Christopher Gathers transferred in from I want to say a school in either North Carolina, South Carolina. We're still learning him right now, so I don't really have much to say, but I can just say, in practice and even in 7-on-7s that we went up to UVA and participated in, this guy's always making like spectacular one-hand interceptions to where you're just amazed and you can see how athletic he is. So you can understand why we want to have him on the field, because when a kid is just that athletic and can do the things that he do, you have to figure out a way to get him involved in the game plan.
Awesome rundown right there by Jerome Mathis. He's the second-year head football coach of the Petersburg Crimson Wave, a former standout at his alma mater, then went on to be a record-setting return man at Hampton University, NFL All-Pro with the Houston Texans, and he's coming off the team's most successful season in terms of wins last year, Ed, with 9 since 1979 when the Crimson Wave went 13-1 under Norman Jenkins. Coach Mathis is our guest for a few more minutes here on 757 Sports Talk on Cova Sports TV as they kick it off officially August 28th at the Henrico Warriors. Ed?
Coach, you season come to an end losing to very good Lake Taylor squad, great program, tradition. Hank Sawyer, one of the best that's ever walked sideline. Did you pick up anything, maybe a tidbit or two from that game for whatever reason that you put under your hat and let that help guide you through this coming season?
Definitely, man. A lot of respect for Hank. Going into that game, the competitor in me, I like to talk trash. I like to have fun. I like to laugh and joke. So it got a little chippy in the pregame, but we came out after that, and the team settled down, and we played a very respectable game. The one thing I could take away from that game, man, is when you get into those playoffs and you're going up against a coach that has a resume like Hank Sawyer, you're going to have to outcoach him. So your preparation is going to have to be 100 times better than he is, because he's done it over and over so many times, man. And it showed in that game. Like, his team came out and they just imposed their will on us. We weren't ready on any level for that game. And once the game settled, we kind of got back into the flow of things and made it a game. But, I tipped my hat to them, man. You know, they were the better team that day, and we knew, like as a staff, me and my coaches had talked before that game all that week, and we had already had in our mind, like, whoever wins this game is going to win states, because those two teams that were facing each other in Region A were the better teams when it came to athleticism out of all the teams in 3.
Yeah, you're not wrong athletically. I mean, there was some really good teams out west, like the Liberty Christians, Heritage Lynchburg, but the athletes you guys have and they have, I mean, you can put them up against anybody, even in other classifications. And I'll close with you here on this, unless something else Coach Young has for you, Jerome. We thank you for coming on the program. Give me kind of your assessment of football in the 804, how it's comparable to other parts of the state, be it the 757, the entire state, and what's your outlook for this year? I mean, obviously, we know Veronica's going to be very good in Class 4. They're coming down to play Maury again. We know that Highland Springs is a tradition. There's a lot of good teams, and I think that the wealth of football in the 804 is certainly stacking up with everybody in the state.
I mean, when it comes to just football in general in the state of Virginia, you know, I feel like every area has their moment or their run. You know, you can go back to 6 years ago when Highland Springs was running all state championships. You can go back to when Phoebus was running them off in the early 2000s. So, you know, it's all about timing when it comes to football in Virginia. You know, down in 757 right now, you have Maury, who's doing an exceptional job. I think they won 3 in a row, working on 4. You have Oscar Smith, who just ran 2. You got Verona, who's winning multiple state championships, just not winning them back to back. But they're a very respectable program that you know is going to do big things. And you also have Highland Springs, who has done it. They know what it takes. Like, you can count them out or say they're having a down year, but they know what it takes. So it's just, like I said, it's just about timing. You know, I don't think no in particular area is greater than the other. I think we all need each other to thrive, because at the end of the day, we're here to compete. We're here to compete, and the only way you're going to get better is by playing against those that are playing at a high level.
I love it. The competition's been fierce. It's been awesome. And Ed, it wouldn't surprise me if we get a rematch come Thanksgiving weekend in Region 3A with the Crimson Wave of Petersburg and the Titans of Lake Taylor, as Coach Jerome Mathis says. Petersburg certainly pointed in the right direction in year number 2. But I know before I let you go, Ed, you want to ask him about your good buddy on the hardwood, don't you, over there at Petersburg?
Yeah, you know, I'm interested, Coach. You know, Ty White moves over from John Marshall, Petersburg. A lot of fanfare, a lot of hype, national rankings, a lot of things going on. How has that helped? I don't want to say hindered. I think it could only help. But how did all of that with you in the football program? Because obviously you bring a lot of hype to the football program with your background and your career and what you've done. But it's kind of a little bit under the radar with Ty. Ty's all over the place with some of that stuff. But how does that dynamic work? And is Ty allowing some of those 8 stars to play some football? Because I know how the football coach and the basketball coach, I've dealt with many of them. I love them all. Sometimes that could be a little bit of a grinder in there because you're trying to get each other's athletes. But how does that dynamic work for you?
Oh man, it's beautiful, man. It's like the perfect marriage, man. You know, you have a coach coming in with the resume that he has, man, and the coaching staff that he has as well. We all get along perfectly well, man. Like, we don't fight over athletes. We encourage each other and we push each other to be the best version of ourselves each and every day. He corrects my kids, I correct their kids. It's nothing to even look deeper into. Like, we have fun, we enjoy going to work, and hey, sometimes we get in there and we beat up on the basketball team. They don't have all their guys, but hey, I'll put 5 of my guys out there, 4 of my guys. I'll call Coach Blackwell up, say, man, we're gonna whip y'all butts today. And they got us one game, we got them on the next game. So then we just got to break the tie. But we won't break the tie no time soon, because both of our season is right here and their season is right behind ours. So we'll probably catch them once the season is over, like we did last year. I can honestly say, if you ask the basketball coaches, especially, don't ask Coach Blackwell, but ask Coach White, because he was in there and witnessed it that day. Who's the last group of kids? Well, who's the last team to beat his basketball team? And he'll tell you it was our football team.
Oh, well, we got to give you full disclosure before we let you run here. So we do the NFHS network broadcasting for the state championships, and Ed and I, along with Andy Hayes, are calling I think it was the Class 6 game with Westfield and Lansdowne, Ed, and we got posed about how sharp the young men there at Petersburg dress. And, them coming in, everybody excited about it. And I said to Ed, I quipped, I said, we got to get us one of those "It's Our Turn Now" T-shirts. And Coach Blackwell comes walking in, pulls out of a bag, and he throws me and Ed one. And I wear it from time to time, by the way. But maybe it'll be Coach Lawson's problem this year to have to buy more rings and jackets for perhaps the basketball and football team this year. You never know.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is a good problem to have.
Man,
it would be a great thing. And I know one of my favorites a long time, I think of all time, I'm around Petersburg, Terry Sisiski, longtime voice, looking down, smiling, and watching all the success that Petersburg is having. But we wish you all the best, Coach. I know you won't be a stranger. We'll get you back on the program, I'm sure, perhaps on that playoff run. And enjoy the rest of your summer. And it's here. Football season's back. All the best to you, and we'll talk down the road.
Hey,
thank you guys for having me.
And Jerome, don't let Ty kid you. He could pay for those rings and jackets out of his pocket. Millionaire he is. He tries to go walk around wearing the same shirt like he ain't got nothing. He got money. Trust me, he got money.
His pockets. I got to buy my wedding gift coming up, man. So
that's right. He's getting married. He's getting married.
Well, I tell you what.
I'll be sure to get him a good gift, and maybe he'll have a little sympathy for me when we win our championship this year.
Well, I'll tell you what. Speaking of him getting married, hats off to the young lady that's going to put up with him. She is an angel on earth, because I hope somebody let her know what she's getting into.
Coach White's my guy, man. I love him to death.
Wouldn't trade him in. That's why we like to kid with him.
Yeah. Well, Coach Mathis, thank you so much. All the best to you in the Crimson Wave, and keep it rocking and rolling.
All right, y'all. Thank you for having me. Have a good
luck, Coach.
You got it. Jerome Mathis with us here, the Petersburg Crimson Wave head football coach, and your number 2 at the helm, and former NFL All-Pro. The Houston Texans, Hampton University. You saw Marty chime in. I know he's covered some of his games in college too, here on 757 Sports Talk. When we return, Ed, do you know what we got coming up next?
Some stuff about the number 1 football team in the country this year and of all time, from the number 1 guy who talks about it, Phil Steele.
That's right. We're giving you some college football in-depth. You got Paul Stone last week. If you missed it, you can go find it on Cova Sports TV. You'll get part 2. And by the way, while you show that, before we bring in Phil and take our commercial break, well, hold on. We got to show it for the audience, because I know we're going to bring it up to Phil. I know you are. Look at this, ladies and gents. Look at this. Look who's in the book, highlighted in yellow. That's right. This guy, not that guy, but this guy. We'll talk about it all with Phil Steele, the guru with the College Football Bible. It's coming up next right here on 757 Sports Talk. And they're watching where, Edward?
Before I tell you where, Phil is going to correct that. He's going to erase that out of there. Say you're on Cova Sports TV. Like, share, subscribe.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis. But if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Welcome to the most honest commercial you'll ever see.
And as you can see, me and you are both having trouble starting to talk.
Yep.
I mean, this is something that you're breathing in every day.
Yeah. Like 50% of the air in the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is coming from down here.
Yes, sir.
How's your crawl space looking? You say we're going to be here a while.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get busy.
Get a free and honest inspection with JES Foundation Repair, a Groundworks company.
This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back to 757 Sports Talk, powered by Cova Sports TV with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield, and Ed, we are delighted to be joined by a special guest. He is the very best in the business when it comes to breaking down college football. He does it like nobody else year after year. You can go get his book. It's out on newsstands now, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. The college football guru and the author of that book that the experts cannot do without. We say hello to our pal, Phil Steele. Phil, good to have you back on the show. How is life treating you here as we're getting closer and closer to your favorite time of year, college football?
I tell you what, life is good right now. The fact there was no second spring portal window this year, oh my goodness, did that make the magazine a lot better process? And, you know, every coach I talked to, they would say, hey, Phil, how you doing? I'm like, how am I doing? I'm doing great. There's no second spring portal window. I don't have to rewrite 138 teams all in the month of May and trying to talk to all the coaches. And they would counter back with, you know what, Phil? It felt more like a team this spring. We could coach the players harder. We could list a guy third string on the depth chart. And we knew he wasn't going to leave. Players didn't have to worry about us replacing them. The team we took into the spring was the team we're going to take into the season. And we were more of a team this year. And I think we're going to see a better brand of football because of it.
You know, that's interesting, Phil, because that was going to lead me into my first question with you. Did you talk about the book before we get into all the teams like Virginia Tech, Old Dominion, James Madison? I know Ed's waiting with bated breath to talk about his beloved Fighting Irish over there of Notre Dame. But take us behind the scenes a bit in the magazine-making process. You've been doing this for decades now, and I know things have been different lately in college football with the NIL, the transfer portal. I think everything's post-pandemic, if you will. But is it still enjoyable for you, this remarkable project that you get done year after year like no one else?
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you one of the reasons is, I get to talk to so many head coaches. This year I talked to 133 of the 138 coaches out there, going over the roster with them, spend about an hour with each one on the average. I send them my team sheets with all the players on, all my notes, all the stats, and then they tell me about the players, how they came out of spring, and update me on, who's going to be all conference, who's going to be NFL. And that's really the most enjoyable part, but really it's all I do. It's the only sport I follow. If you ask me anything about the NBA, I could tell you LeBron James' name, but I can't tell you anybody else's. I don't even watch basketball, don't watch baseball. I don't even watch the NFL anymore. I'm just strictly college football year round.
Well, thanks again, man, for coming on. You can hear me?
I can hear you, Ed.
Okay, good. You know, your book, every year I go crazy about it. It's the greatest preview of any sport. I say this all the time because I mean it. Those other magazines, they're wasting their time on the shelves with you, next to you. It's an embarrassment to them. But I guess they got to try to make a little bit of pocket change, so to speak, for them. My favorite part, well, I shouldn't say favorite, but my fun part, page 2 this year, 12 TV screens. You have what all of us sport fanatic dudes would love to have, 12-screen man cave. If I'm not mistaken, explain that to everybody.
Yeah, it's what I do on Saturdays. I got 12 TVs in front of me. So I'm watching 12 games all day long. I got myself a lot of Diet Mountain Dew to help me get through the entire day. But, I try to take in all 12 games. And generally, there's only 2 or 3 plays going on at a time. And I've been blessed with being able to pay attention to multi-screens like that. And it really helps me in the analysis of the teams. I get a good feel for how the games went, because if you look at the final score of a game sometimes, it's not necessarily how the game was played. One team was fortunate, one was not. And I get a ton of information from watching each of the games. And, in the magazine, I write about all 138 teams. I do write all 138 previews myself. So I give you as much information on a team like Old Dominion or Georgia State that we do on Alabama or Ohio State, 2 full pages. So naturally, I have to watch all their games. Although I'll tell you, when you get the weekday games, you can really focus on those teams, in the CUSA or in the MAC when they're playing the weekday games as well.
Ton of information, and the other thing is we can't hold you too long because the whole world wants you, and it was our turn to get you. let's talk. Let me back up. Phil, I'm going to make a comment to you. You're not going to like. I saw one mistake in the book already.
All right.
I can't remember the page, but the name Matt Hatfield is in the book. Phil must have slipped up somehow. I don't know how that happened. In the words of the great Tony Mercurio, Phil, you're the best there is, best there ever was, and best there ever will be. But I found a mistake. So I have to point that out to you. Maybe next year you can correct that.
All right, we'll see if we can't get that corrected, Coach. But I tell you, Matt's been talking to Matt since way back in the Tony Mercurio days, which I can't thank Tony enough for getting me on the air like he did in the early days of the magazine. Really helped us go from that first issue, which was like 188 pages of black and white newsprint, all the way up to what it is now in the 32nd year, 2 full pages, full color, 376 pages in this year's magazine. But doing Tony's show was invaluable, and getting to talk to Matt way back then was enjoyable. So, yeah, not sure how that got in there, Coach. We'll see if we can't correct that.
Well, I'll just say this. If you leave it in there, then next year I'm going to look for 757 Sports Talk, Ed Young.
Okay, you got it. I'll get the request is put in there, and we'll see if we can't put that in there.
And make sure I'm ahead of him if you can do that.
Boy, oh boy. You see what I did with Phil. But let's dive into what you do best, which is break it down here. Let's start with the in-state schools, Virginia and Virginia Tech. One's coming off a trip to the ACC championship game in Tony Elliott's Cavaliers, while another has a new sideline boss in James Franklin. Is it close between the two Commonwealth rivals in your eyes? And do you see either the legit shot of reaching the ACC title game or even sniffing the college football playoff?
Yeah, I think it is close between the two teams. When you look at Virginia, I'm so happy that they gave Coach Elliott the leeway, to have 3 straight losing seasons. They finally gave him some NIL money last year, and I thought it really worked. He did a great job bringing in players in the portal last year. And he did so again this year, brought in 31 more portal players. I like both quarterbacks, Bo Prabula and Eli Holstein. And there's good talent throughout this roster. And I think Virginia is once again a contender. Key game might be right out of the box when they play NC State. And I think they also benefit from the game in Brazil being canceled and having them get that as a home game this year for 2 reasons. They're one of the few teams that has actually 2 byes this year. Everybody else is dealing with 1 bye week. They get the benefit of 2 bye weeks. That's going to keep the team a little bit healthier. And they don't have to contend with the trip overseas. Talking to Coach Campbell and Coach Kleiman, Iowa State and Kansas State last year, both were concerned with what was going to happen with the trip overseas, and the side effects definitely affected Kansas State early, affected Iowa State later in the year. So I think not having that game in Brazil will help Virginia, and they will contend once again in the ACC. And with Virginia Tech, James Franklin brings over a bunch of players with him from Penn State. I thought he hit some home runs in the portal class as well. But the biggest thing that he did was having Brent Pry come back as defensive coordinator. And for Brent Pry to get fired from the head coach job and return as a defensive coordinator, I think that speaks volumes about the man he is. And this guy knows defense, knew the team inside and out. So Coach Franklin all of a sudden had the knowledge of last year's head coach on his staff, telling him about every single player. That really helps the transition go well, and should be a great start to the season for Virginia Tech. I think they can actually open up the year 7-0. They do have to play Maryland, Boston College, and Cal on the road, but I think all those games are winnable. Now, when I did talk to Coach Franklin, he did say, hey, Phil, we got to play Clemson, SMU, Miami of Florida, all on the road. Those are 3 of the top teams in the ACC, and that's really going to determine whether or not they're a contender in the ACC. But I think it's going to be a much better year for Virginia Tech, and hats off to Coach Pry for coming back as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, very interesting there to see that. You don't see that too often where a guy is left as a head coach, but he stays on the staff, shows his humility and grace there. How about the team that knocked off the Hokies and essentially cost him his job? Old Dominion, coming off a banner year under Ricky Ronnie last season, beating the Hokies, defeating South Florida in Cure Bowl and notching 10 wins. Top 10 rushing offense last season, top 15 scoring defense, but a brand new starting quarterback, 5 new starters on the offensive line, and a lot of unknowns. Give us your assessment of the Monarchs.
Yeah, I love the job that Ricky Ronnie's doing there. And you look at this year, they bring in 54 new players, but, 15 of them are JUCOs, 14 through the portal. and 25 through high school. So it's not a complete portal team. And, you know, when I saw it, Quinn Heineke last year was a quarterback that can run the ball just like Colton Joseph did. And he's already been the Sun Belt Player of the Week on offense in one of his starts in the 2 years. So I think they're in good shape at the quarterback position. Having Devin Roach and Marky James back at running back is solid. The offensive line is got to be the biggest question mark. They lose 5 guys from last year. Now, Coach Ronnie told me he liked the depth. They just don't have the high-end talent that they had from last year. And rebuilding that offensive line is going to be key. I think when you look at the defense, overall, the defensive line is probably the strongest unit on the team. DeAndre Lynch, Chris Forbes coming back inside. If you're strong in the interior, you're good against the run. They had in a guy like Jamez Drummer coming in from Towson. He's a guy that can run. He's physical. He'll strike you. So I really like the defensive line. The linebackers look good. The king position is huge to have a player that can pass rush as well as cover. Mario Easterly gives them that. So they're going to have a strong defense again this year. The offense really depends on how that offensive line comes along. And when I look at the schedule this year, the games I've got them underdog would be at Virginia Tech, naturally, home against James Madison, but that one is going to be a close one. James Madison's got a new roster as well. And then at App State, at Louisiana Tech, I got a toss-up game, but I think ODU has another strong year. Might be tough to match last year's 10-win total, but I think they're a legitimate contender in their division.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Ed?
You know what I want to do, Phil. I want to jump so quickly to my squad, but you know there are some other teams here in the state. If you could give an assessment, somebody like
Liberty,
of course, JMU, Liberty. You know, some assessments on Liberty, maybe.
All right, I'll give you Liberty and JMU, and we'll start off with Liberty. They are my number one most improved team in the country this year. I think when you look at them last year, they were much better than their 4-8 record. I don't know if I've ever seen a team lose back-to-back overtime games before. That means you change one play in each of those games. They could have won all 3 and had a much better record. In fact, they were plus 66 yards per game in league play, and yet finished with the record they did. So I think when you look at this year's squad, they only lose 27 starts to FBS schools through the portal. And, you know, when I go over the rosters with the group of 6 coaches, generally they'll get excited about a player. They'll say, oh, my goodness, this guy's strong, he's fast, going to do this. So we won't have them next year. They're all under the assumption that these guys are going to get bought. But Liberty didn't have those big losses like that. And I like what they got at the quarterback position. They actually go 4 deep there. Whether it's Deshaun Purdy, who comes in from Wake Forest, Ethan Vasco, who will be better his second year as the starter here, Jalen Henderson, who was started at Texas A&M and looked great at West Virginia last year, or even Ethan Houck, who, you know, he's a guy that could do it as a redshirt freshman. They've got 4 capable QBs, and I think that's a plus. Kane Udo is a running back they got from Army. Now, he had to learn a new offense. Army's offense is different than the normal offense, and he learned that last year. He had a couple good games at Arizona State. I think he blossoms this year at Liberty, and I don't think Jamie Chadwell forgot how to coach. I've actually got them the number one most improved team in the country. I think they go from 4 wins to double-digit wins this year. And with James Madison, you know, when I talked to Coach Napier going over the roster with him, he feels, first of all, he's very happy that they retained 49 players from last year's squad. There's a lot of that James Madison attitude, which is we want to be elite, and that's their whole philosophy. They have good NIL money, so he's able to bring in quality transfers that picked up that James Madison attitude, and I think they're going to have a talented team that contends. Now, I would say that the East Division is open. James Madison, Old Dominion, Marshall, App State, all going to contend there. But they did get my pick for first, and I think Billy Napier steps in, has a good year. And the one thing I really liked in my conversation with Coach Napier was him comparing the running back core to what he had at Louisiana. Remember, he'd have like 3 running backs with nearly 1,000 yards at Louisiana. He's got that here with George Pettaway, Nick Herman, Seth Cromwell. These are all guys that are among the tops. Even the 2 redshirt freshmen, Fannin Render and McCarter, are guys that can contribute. So I think they're going to have a very strong run game.
All right, now I can't wait longer. I'm too excited. I'm sitting here, got my Notre Dame shirt on. I look in the book. It's one of the first things I do when I get the book, Notre Dame. I saw some of your units. You have Notre Dame, a lot of the units top 5. You have them schedule-wise as one of the weaker schedules, which I'm okay with because for years they played the strongest schedule in the country and got no credit for it. So I don't mind the so-called weak schedule. Wisconsin at first could be a toe stumper. Then, of course, they got a BYU in Miami later in the season as the games maybe people will look at hard. And if I'm not mistaken, and again, I haven't gone through a whole lot because I barely get through the first couple of pages when I first look at this book. So you got Carr. C.J. Carr as a potential Heisman winner, which would be Notre Dame's first since Timmy Brown in '87. Phil, give it to me. You like Notre Dame? What's the true assessment?
Yeah, I definitely like the Irish. And, Coach, when I analyze a team, it's different than most. When most people analyze a team, they look at quarterback, running back, and receiver. And if you do that with Notre Dame, you're like, oh, my goodness, they lose both Love and Price from running back, a couple of first-round draft picks. How are they going to replace them? But I rely mostly defense, and I'm a heavy defensive guy. And if you look at Notre Dame, last year they held opponents to 95 yards per game, below their average. And they've got 9 starters back on defense. I rate them the number 5 defensive line in the country, the best set of linebackers in the country, the best secondary in the country. Overall, I rate them the number 1 defense. Now, normally, that might be good enough for number 1, but look at the offensive line, and I'm on the Joe Moore Award Committee, and one of the 21 award committees I'm on, and I value offensive line play. They've got 4 NFL caliber offensive linemen in Craig, Jagasaw, Knapp, and Lambert. I rate them the number 1 offensive line in the country. Those are a couple of good pieces to start. Then throw in the quarterback. C.J. Carr last year had an outstanding 24-6 ratio, and that was as a freshman starting quarterback in his first year. Now he's a veteran quarterback, and he's got Jordan Faison back at receiver. Jaden Greathouse, who really blossomed late in 2024, was injured most of last year. He's back. And then you go to the Ohio State for a couple of transfers. Ohio State always has elite wide receivers. They bring in 2 of them, in Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham. So I really like the receiving core. As running back wise, I like Aeneas Williams, Keedron Young, Nolan James. I think they will develop 2 or 3 really strong running backs this year and have that run game. And then, as you touched on, Coach, the schedule, the only 2 games I don't have them at least a 14-point favorite are at BYU and home to Miami. But I got a favorite in both games. And I also love their motto this year. After being left out of the playoffs last year, their motto this year is leave no doubt. And if you watched remember the Titans, you saw what kind of attitude they had in those games. So add it all up. I've got the Irish running the table, having a lot of comfortable games, which means you can play your backups during the regular season. The main thing for me is, can they overcome that bye week? Because as we've seen in the playoffs now, those teams that sit out for 3-4 weeks and play against a team that just played last week, they are 1-7, despite mostly having the better team, the higher seed, with the only Coach Cignetti being one to overcome it. But I think Marcus Freeman's a good enough coach to be able to overcome that.
That's an amazing stat. 1-7 for the teams with the bye week in the playoff. I can't even fathom that. Phil, to follow up here, as we're talking with the college football guru himself, Phil Steele, get the book that the experts cannot do without, philsteele.com. Find it on your newsstands, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million. It is 757 Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. And Phil will tell you more about his magazine and what you get with Phil Steele Plus when you become a subscriber at the end of our segment here. But Phil, looking at the Heisman thing, Ed mentioned it could be the first Heisman guy since Timmy Brown in '87 at the quarterback spot. You got some guys at the Heisman board that you like? If someone's out there trying to make an investment on 1 or 2 people, maybe a sleeper or 2, what's your view of the Heisman Trophy this year?
Yeah, I think when you look at the Heisman, naturally coming into the year, it could be anybody. Remember last year, Nussmeier of LSU was at the top of the list. Cade Klubnik of Clemson was at the top of the list. And neither of those 2 guys were anywhere near it at the end of the year. But the guys at the top right now, C.J. Carr, I believe, is the favorite to win it. Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Trinidad Chambliss, Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith of Ohio State, Darian Mensah of Miami, Josh Hoover of Indiana, all up there. But the one guy I'm going to hone in here, give you a little bit of a long shot pick. How about 20-1 odds? And right now you can get 20-1 odds on Gunnar Stockton from Georgia. And I'll be honest with you, last year I was super impressed with Gunnar Stockton. He brings mobility to the quarterback position for Georgia. He plays his best in big games. Against ranked teams last year, he had 16 touchdown passes, just 2 interceptions. And if you watch him clutch time, I'm talking if it's fourth down or if it's in the fourth quarter, that's when Gunnar Stockton's at his best. So I'll take a player like that on a team like Georgia, which is absolutely loaded this year. Georgia's got my number 7 offense, my number 2 defense. I don't have an underdog in any game this year. They do have to play at Bama and at Ole Miss, which I got pick them. But if they're 11-1, 12-0 at the end of the year, champs of the SEC, a second straight year, I think Gunnar Stockton would have a great shot at being a long shot, 20-1 to win the Heisman this year.
That is a good one there, Ed, for Phil. Gunnar Stockton, trying to make you some money there if you put a couple shekels down on Stockton there at the Heisman, Ed.
Well, I'm prejudiced. I'm looking at CJ Carr, and Phil says they can run the table. Then I'm going to run my $1.27 on Notre Dame and CJ Carr. I can't. I don't have the big money to do that. Phil, my question would jump back to the national scene. All eyes on Indiana last year, undefeated, winning it all. The question, of course, could be how do you assess Indiana? Can they do it again? Number one. And then number 2, right behind that, who could be this year's Indiana?
We're not going to see Indiana, I think, in the national landscape even though everybody's going to be pointing to it, we can do that. I think it was a unique situation. I don't think we're going to see a team come up from being the losingest program in college football to making the playoffs and then winning a national championship in 2 years. I think Cignetti did something remarkable. Now, they have a new quarterback this year, but I'll tell you what, my first conversation with Coach Cignetti when he was at James Madison, they were coming up from FCS to FBS, and they lost their all-conference quarterback. They had no experience at quarterback, and we're taking a step up in level of competition. I'm like, Coach, probably going to struggle a little bit here at quarterback this year. He's like, Phil, everywhere I've been, we've had an all-conference quarterback, and we'll have one this year. And I was like, whoa, okay. Guess what? They had one that year. Everywhere he goes, even Curtis Rourke, his first year, he brought him over from Miami of Ohio, developed him into an all-conference quarterback. So am I concerned about Josh Hoover and the interceptions he had at TCU? Not in the least bit. Here's a quarterback that's thrown for nearly 10,000 yards. He's in a great offensive system where he doesn't have to try to win the games. They've got the running game with Turbo Richard, Kobe Martin, and BB. They've got one of the top offensive lines in the country. I rate it number 3. They've got one of the best receiving cores. Charlie Becker's back, and they add in a Nick Marsh from Michigan State. The defense is loaded again this year. And when I go through the schedule, and I do that every year after I put the magazine out, I go through every matchup for the year. I look at past history of the matchups. I look at the situation. I look at the talent, throw my 9 sets of power ratings in there. I have them favored in 11 of the 12 games. And the only game I don't have them favored, I've got a toss-up game, and that's when they host Ohio State on October 17th. So I expect Indiana to be strong once again, be a national title contender once again, perhaps win the Big Ten once again. I've got a 3-way tie for first in the Big Ten between Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. I think all 3 teams are capable, and there's probably about 10 teams right now capable of winning the national title.
Yeah, interesting there. Hey, Phil, it's a big military area here in the 757. Navy and Army, many people see as trendy choices to win the AAC and possibly crack the CFP. What says you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Navy this year, and going over the squad with Coach Newberry, he had this quiet confidence, like something special is going to happen. And, when you look at Navy, normally the service academies are like number 85 on my experience chart because they graduate so many seniors, and they play a lot of seniors. Well, they're actually number 15 on my experience chart, and Coach Newberry likes both Braxton Woodson and Jackson Goodyear as a quarterback. They've got good talent throughout the offensive line loaded. They're almost all back from last year. The defense is a veteran group, and the schedule sets up well. They do have to play Air Force and UTSA on the road, but San Antonio is also a military type of town. And when I talked to Coach Traylor of UTSA, asked him why they lost to Army at home when they never lose at home to anybody, he said it's because they're a military town and half the crowd is generally in favor of Army. So they don't have their normal home field edge. It may happen for Navy. So I think if Navy goes 11-1 this year, with their lone loss to Ed's Notre Dame team, then you're going to see them be that team to make the playoff. And we've never seen a service academy make the playoff before. I think Navy's got that opportunity this year. And with Army, they also have a veteran team. Both teams are on my homegrown list. It's a new thing I put in the magazine this year. And last year I did a analysis of the teams, the ones that are bringing in 40, 50 new transfer players every year. How do you build a team in that respect? Look at Florida State. They got lucky the one year and went undefeated, but the last 2 years with the 40, 50 transfers, they've had a pair of losing seasons. Well, it's not like that with Army and Navy. They're all homegrown guys. And Army's got a veteran squad as well. They're number 6 on my experience chart. They do have to play Memphis on the road, but I think you're going to see a very successful season out of Army. And they're a legitimate contender in the American Conference as well.
Stuff here with Phil Steele, the college football guru, our guest here on 757 Sports Talk on Cove Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe, Ed.
Phil, I know another thing I always like in the book is what could be a surprise team. Okay, you say there's no Indiana, but if I'm not mistaken, if I cheated, your number one surprise team did surprise me because we don't see this team in that category very much. Tell us about it.
Yeah, and what I do every year, Coach, is in February, I do my preseason AP top 10. And we've only had a 95% success rate on it. Out of the 15 years I've done it, 7 times I have missed one team that wasn't in the preseason top 10, despite doing it 6 months in advance. So I have a pretty good success rate. What I do is I eliminate anybody that's going to be in the preseason top 10. You're not available for the surprise team list. You have to be outside the top 10. The team I picked this year is way under the radar. It is Alabama. Alabama's been in the preseason top 10 every year since 2005. And if you watched Alabama at the end of the year, getting blown out by Indiana, blown out by Georgia, not able to run the ball, and they lose Ty Simpson, nobody's going to like Alabama this year. And in fact, they were picked 6th in the SEC, 6th place in the SEC. When's the last time that happened? But Kalen DeBoer's a hell of a coach. In fact, he's 20-6 against ranked teams in his career, and he's got good talent throughout this roster. I like both Keelan Russell and Austin Mack at quarterback. I think no matter who wins the job, they're going to have good quarterback play. And remember, Ty Simpson was a first-year starter last year. They've got a deep running back room with Daniel Hill, E.J. Kroll, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere. They will have the run game this year. And when I went through the schedule, I don't have an underdog in any game. I've got 3 toss-up games on the schedule, home against Georgia, at Tennessee, at LSU, but all those are winnable. Nobody's thinking about Alabama this year after the way they finished last season. I've got them my number one surprise team. And remember, they were the number 1 seed in the SEC championship game over Georgia. They only had 1 SEC loss last year.
That's a great point, Phil. A lot of people forget about that as far as their stunning success, if you will, with the year they had. And then people were basically throwing dirt on DeBoer, who's obviously got a pedigree from his days on the West Coast with the Broncos. Well, we could do this with you all day long. I'm sure we'll get you back on the program again here. But tell the folks how they can get the magazine, but also not just the magazine. During the season, you guys, your entire team, but you at the forefront of it, do an awesome job of giving the in-depth analysis, kind of peeling back the curtain. Tell them what they get when they become a Phil Steele Plus member.
Well, thanks, Matthew. Really appreciate that. Now, the magazine, is, as I mentioned, is 376 pages. It's got 2 full pages on all 138 teams. It's basically like getting 138 media guides rolled into one, except it's easier because all the information's on the same spot on every page. Quick, easy reference. Now, it's only available at 2 brick-and-mortar locations, Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. So if you're out driving around, save your gas money. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million are the only 2 places it's available at the store, or you can go online to philsteele.com. And at philsteele.com, if you order the magazine, I'm going to charge you a shipping charge, cost to ship things, but we do give you the digital magazine absolutely free. So that's Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, philsteele.com. Also at philsteele.com, as Matthew mentioned, we actually have an FCS magazine with 2 full pages on every FCS team, and that's digital only, but you can get that online right now, 2 full pages on every FCS team, philsteele.com. Check out my daily blog every day on philsteele.com. And then during the season, Phil Steele Plus with selections. I give you like 7-8 free plays every single week on YouTube. So check that out. But philsteele.com, Barnes & Noble, or Books A Million. Become an instant college football expert.
Look at that, Ed. Get the digital content as well. So all you fans out there of Michael Vick's Norfolk State Spartans or Hampton University Pirates, Richmond Spiders, a lot of teams are on the Commonwealth and beyond that are FCS. He has the quench for thirst appetite taken care of right there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, nobody puts out an FCS magazine, and I will say this: I write each and every team page in the FBS magazine, but my staff writes the FCS magazine. I'm only one person. There's no way I could write 360 teams like that on a year, but they do a great job compiling all the information. And like I said, it's got this 2 full pages on every FCS team.
We need to clone Phil, Ed. He could be the human robot in college football encyclopedia. Just amazing, the information, just a wealth of it. Well, we thank you so much, as always, for coming on the program. Enjoy the college football camp, and I'm sure you won't be a stranger, and we'll keep in touch with you throughout the year. And as always, we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds good. Always love being in the 757. It's one of my favorite area codes out there. Has been ever since I started my business. So appreciate you guys having me on. And Ed, we'll see what we can do about getting you in that magazine next year.
Well, like I said, I know you got a million things to worry about. If you can't do it, I'll just go through the magazines at the store. I'll bring a black marker and I'll just take out Hatfield.
Sounds good, guys. A lot of fun talking football with you today.
Likewise.
Always, Phil, man. Thank you, Phil. Always grateful for you coming on our show here in the 757, man. We love you down here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. The one and only Phil Steele with us here on 757 Sports Talk. Keep it tuned. They're watching where, Ed?
Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh?
Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
Well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cove Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, you're going to love this joke. I just know it. Why did Snoop Dogg shake his soda before opening it? For fizzle.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
I'm muted now. And we're back here on 757 Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield, and we were pleased to be joined by a special guest. He is the new head football coach of the first Colonial Patriots in Virginia Beach. Year one at the helm. We say hello to Coach DJ Dinsmoor out there. Coach, thanks for joining us. It's August now. It's summertime. We're going from July to August. Football season's almost here. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. We're out here working hard today. Boys showed up nice and early, getting in this good work, man. Just keep pushing together, stacking more days.
That's terrific. Now let's do this because this is your first time on the program. But people around the 757, some know you from your years around the gridiron. You were an assistant most recently with Brendan Card, Indian River, part of their region championship staff. But tell us about your background, your high school days, your college days. Introduce yourself to the rest of the audience that may not know you.
All right. I'm originally from California. I grew up out in San Diego. I played at Mission Bay High School back then. From there, I went on to play at Grossmont College. From there, I went on to play in a professional league, the Pacific Football League, for a few years, up until I moved out here back in '98 to Virginia. Brought out here through work. I contract with the Navy, so that's my main job. Coaching in football has just been my love and my passion ever since I was a teenager. We always talk about, you got that one coach in your life that saw something in you that could help change you. Coming from a family situation I was in, I was fortunate enough to have Coach Jerry Surdy at Mission Bay, who saw something in me, something special that, helped me get out of my situation and, put my life in a forward positive direction. So I'm always thankful for that. And because of that relationship that he and I had, that's what drove me to give back to the youth and to be a coach. After my playing days, got involved in coaching and just fell in love with it and have stayed with it ever since. So I've been coaching for over 30 years now. Been in the 757, like I said, since '98. Working with youth programs like the Virginia Beach Mustangs, Ocean Lakes High School prior to Indian River, working with Coach Jones and the staff over there back in 2015, and then, blessed to get the opportunity here at First Colonial High School to take over as a head coach. Try to just, change the culture over here, bring in a new era, revive the program. We knew what the situation was coming in. Complete rebuild, complete rebranding, complete restructuring of the whole program. So I've got a great coaching staff. I've got guys that have played, at every level from D1 to the pros to Division III. But everyone on the staff has college football playing experience, and they're bringing that knowledge out here and giving back to the boys.
Yeah, I'd tell you before I let Ed jump in here, it makes me feel old when I see guys like Gunnar White now on your coaching staff. I remember covering him just a few years ago from Tallwood, heck of a player at CNU. And you mentioned you working with the Mustangs. Our good friend Bruce Pearl, who does NFL picks with us every week, he kicks my tail and Ed's tail. Well, I won't say my tail. He kicks Ed's tail every week. But also tell the folks, too, your son, you got a chance to coach your son who went to Ocean Lakes to CNU, and now he's getting into coaching, huh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a blessed opportunity to coach my son, when he played at Ocean Lakes. And then as he graduated, he spent his first year down in South Carolina at Erskine. Situation didn't work out that he wanted, with the way the landscape is in college football. He had the opportunity to transfer to CNU. Great opportunity for him there. It's worked out wonderful for him. Him and Coach Crowley have a great relationship. The new defensive coordinator, Mario Bird, took over this year for them at CNU. And yeah, they brought Hunter in under his wing. Last year he was running the defensive line, and this year he'll be working with defensive backs. So he's getting a good opportunity to learn the other side of the ball, being an offensive guy, O-line guy, an offensive minded guy. We always call that the dark side. So he's over there working with the dark side now, but yeah, he's doing good stuff, man. I love it.
Really cool stuff. We're chatting with Coach Dinsmoor, the new head man at the First Colonial Patriots, trying to snap the longest playoff drought in the area at the 757. They haven't made the postseason since 2000, so nowhere to go but up. It is 757 Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Ed?
Coach, first, congrats on getting the FC gig. And I know you're excited. I read your survey in anticipation of your interview today to kind of get some information. And the thing that pops out at me, and you kind of alluded to it, it's a new day, new situation. Everybody's new, restart, rebuild, rebrand, everything. And you mentioned a lot in the survey about your assistants and what you are bringing to this, which looks like we accepted nothing less than in the playoffs every year and moving forward in that. Bring that more to life in terms of when you got the job. Hey, man, we want you to head this program. What were those couple things, 2-3 things in your head as you're walking out of the building saying, okay, this is what's got to be done now, in terms of what was your thinking is?
So the first thing that needed to be brought to the table, man, was structure. The team didn't have any structure. They didn't have any discipline. They didn't have any real true organization. You could tell from, in the building, with the kids and some of the administration, they're just not familiar with what a winning program looks like. They haven't had it here in so long. So that was the first thing that I noticed that needed to be changed. We needed to show them this is what a winning program looks like. This is how we work. This is how we operate. These are the things that we're going to demand of the players. And one of the main things that I implemented was first thing in is, making sure that the kids, had GPAs to be able to play, and make sure that they were eligible. So every 2 weeks, they got a grade check sheet that they had to go and take to their teachers and actually physically engage with their teachers and get signed so that we as a staff were able to, stay on top of where their GPA was to make sure that they're passing their classes, maintaining eligibility. So, I've told them, for me, my overall goal for the team is the team standard. We want everyone on the team to have a 3.0 GPA or better, and so that's something that we're striving for. Talking with the administration and the principal who just left, Dr. Mahani, he was super impressed. We had a team that typically they have, a dozen or more players that, need to attend summer school to get eligibility for the fall. And we only had 2 players going into summer that had to go to summer school eligibility requirement. So I felt like that was a huge improvement across the board. Gone out with needed 7-on-7 over at the and most recently with Norfolk Academy. And the greatest feedback I've gotten from other coaches in the area is just how this, I say something, they play off.
We lost a little bit there. Your audio was breaking up there. But, Ed, I know that's refreshing for your ears to hear, though, about the academic piece, because I don't think we ever hear very often a new head coach come in and talk about the grades being a focal point, but that's something that matters, Ed.
Well, I admire DJ mentioning that, because if you don't have the grades and eligibility, forget about we're going to the playoffs, we're running this scheme, we're doing that scheme. You'd be doing it by yourself for the most part, or as we know in the coaching field, with the wrong type of players, because sometimes it's our better players that sometimes are the knuckleheads in the classroom, because sometimes they think, well, I play, I'll get a grade. They'll give me a grade. And that's not true. And you got to make an example of that situation. But I'm impressed as a veteran coach too. I'm impressed with that, because some of our younger coaches coming into the field, getting the head jobs, they talk a good academic game, but they're really more concerned with bringing in players and winning games. Hey, I can coach. Whereas the veteran guys, and even though you're head coach, you've been an assistant, you've been through it. Some of us older guys will give up a game or two or win or two to make sure they understand we're not playing. When it comes to classroom and it comes to academics, you don't do it, you don't play. I don't care how good you are. I don't care who's recruiting you. I don't care who your parents are, whatever. And we need more of that in the field.
Yeah, 100% there. I've told the kids, from day one, their best ability is availability.
Hey, Coach, I hate to cut you off, but we're having some issues with your audio. So let's try, if you don't mind, try to log out and log back in. I don't know if it got with overheat or something, if you don't mind real quick. Yeah, we're having some issues, but we want to get you. We definitely want to hear your response to that, because he was breaking up at the end of his last answer, but he was giving us some really good stuff prior to that. We'll see if he can log back out and log back in. We were losing him there. I didn't want to. It was choppy there. I hate to do that to him, but I want to make sure we get to hear what he has to say there on what you were saying there here on Cova Sports TV. I know sometimes if you're out in the field, especially in the heat like this, as you know with your phone can overheat a little bit. You got to X out. So apologies about that. We'll get his answer, though, hopefully to continue on here in a minute to see if we can get what Coach DJ Dinsmoor has to say here on Cova Sports TV, 757 Sports Talk. First year at the helm as they have their first game coming up, Ed, on August 28th against the Bayside Marlins. We mentioned they haven't been to the playoffs since 2000. It's the longest drought in the area. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take some time over there at FC, but you definitely like the energy and enthusiasm. We'll give him a chance to answer what you were asking about and highlight some of those guys on his team and his staff. Hopefully we got the audio cleared up now, so we apologize about that. I think we will have him back here on the program in a minute. Coach, you got us loud and clear now? Oh, we're not getting any audio now. For some reason, it's X'd out on us. Let's see if we can get your audio reconnected here. I don't know what has happened there. Let's see if we can get his audio working back with you. We can hopefully hear you. We'll see if we can get Coach to hear us better here. He's having some difficulties there with the connection outside. Working at practice in the heat there. So hopefully we'll get him signed back in with us to chat more about the Patriots of FC here on 757 Sports Talk. Here, quick thought, though, before we get him back, hopefully reconnected on the Beach District. And we'll do our preview show later this month. We're going to make our picks, top 4 in each district, top players of the year, offense, defense. We're going to actually release soon the first ever all Hatfield preseason football team on Cova Sports TV. I'm picking 12 guys, offense, defense. Ed's already graded it. Doesn't want to give it away. But we have some neat things in store. But, well, I think we got him out here. We're going to see if this is now working now. I think he's reconnected. We'll get Ed's thoughts on the beach in a second, too. But let's see if Coach has got us loud and clear now. Coach, can you hear us loud and clear? Or are we still choppy? Let's hope we're good.
Still choppy.
Can you hear us, Coach?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, we're having some audio issues. It's very choppy for some reason on your end with the phone. I don't know what happened. Your audio was great the first question and a half, and then towards the end of your second question, we lost you with the audio. So I don't know if we can get that reconfigured. We want to make sure we can hear you clearly because it's kind of as you would say, almost like you're underwater gribbly. So we'll see if we can get that ironed out here. But while we try to get that troubleshooted on Cova Sports TV, we'll now ask you about the beach. Green Run's been the hunted. I still think everybody's hunting them with their long winning streak. Do you think a team can knock them off this year in the beach? Is a team out there, fill in the blank, whatever team that is, Salem, Cox, Lancetown, whoever, that can knock them off, or do you think it's not really all that possible?
Well, let me ask you this.
I'm asking you a question. What are you asking me a question for? But go ahead.
I want to clarify. When's the last time they lost a regular season beach district game?
Great question. It would be the shortened season post-COVID. Their last loss within the Beach District was to Salem, and that was on March the 12th. You say March? Yeah, that was the spring season. March the 12th, 28-27. So they have not lost a game in the 21 fall season, 22, 23, 24, 25 to anybody from the Beach District. So your thought real quick. We got Coach back on this thing, but go ahead. Yep.
Well, I'm going to say I think that streak will continue.
Okay.
I'll make a dumb statement. They're going to keep winning until they lose, because
that is a dumb statement. Everybody keeps winning until they lose.
Right. In other words, I'm not going to predict, they'll lose a game this year in the Beach District. Right now, I don't see it happening. Okay. Somebody's going to have to eat. Green Run has proven even when they're down, not into a game, they can still win it.
Okay.
And that can come back and haunt them soon enough.
Okay.
Salem, Cox, Kempsville, there's teams that can get them. There's no question that they are. But right now, for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been proven no. When it really
their schedule out of the gate, by the way, they host Tallwood, then they have at Salem, host Cox, at Huff, Bayside at Lansdowne. So some of the tougher tests in the beach perhaps are on the front side of the schedule. With that Huff game, a very fascinating out-of-district game that we highlighted back in the spring when they announced that schedule, that's on deck for them. But should be interesting. I think we now have Coach back with us. We're going to now see if we can try it. We're going to keep the fingers crossed that this is now going to work for us. As I see he has re-entered the stage, and I hope Coach can hear us loud and clear. Coach, you got us out there? You got us. Okay, we're still getting some funky feedback on your end with the audio. Try talking for us if you can. It sounds something with your audio is messed up. I'm not sure what's going on.
Your answers are all chopped up.
Yeah, it's something with the audio. We'll see if he can get that fixed for us. Hopefully, we get that ironed out here. We'll see if he can troubleshoot that, because it sounds very choppy. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio with Coach Dinsmoor over there at First Colonial. Trying to work hard to get the practice in, get the time in, getting ready for the season as you want to beat some of these days where it's going to be extra humid and storms in the forecast before we get ready for game numero uno. That's not OJ you got there? What is that? Fruit punch you're drinking now? You went from grape juice.
Switched to a little bit of
Kool-Aid,
grapefruit, pineapple juice combined.
Oh
boy, it has a great taste to it.
I thought it was Kool-Aid.
I ran out of the grape juice, and then I realized I don't have no OJ, so I went to my third. I'm a big juice guy. I got a lot of juice in there. I got a lot of juice. A lot of people tell me I got a lot of juice, baby.
You're the real juice man, not our buddy Ray Winterstein from ODU. That's the juice man, actually.
That's right. Remember that? That was the guy on TV with the white hair, white eyebrows.
Yeah, he's a big time ODU guy, Ray Winterstein. Great dude. We'll get Ray on the show one of these days. Maybe we'll do a show over there at ODU. You never know. All right, we're gonna try. Hopefully, this is just gonna work. I don't know if he's got.
Let's keep fingers crossed. Come on,
phone or his computer, because he was giving us some great stuff before all of a sudden the audio went haywire. It could be on our end too. You never know. We had issues last week with Delisha Milton-Jones and Danny Dodson. All right, Coach, you got us out there.
I got you, man.
Oh, you're perfect now. You are great.
Good.
The audio's worked. I don't know. Whatever you did, don't mess with it. We're good now. So I'll continue with what you were asking Ed a few minutes ago.
Well, my thing was a follow-up to what he said. He came in there with the idea, academically, we got to get these kids straight, get their grades straight. We're not having them all going to summer school, not walking around the building taking up air and their best class is lunch. And I admire that, because I said, Coach, some of the younger guys in the profession, and I'm not pointing fingers, and it's basketball, football, wherever, they just want to hurry up and show they can win. And sometimes they allow some of the better players to scoot by because I got to win, and I got to make them happy, because this day and age, kids are transferring a dime. And our veteran guys, such as you know, myself, even though it's your first year, we'll lose a game or two to prove to the kids we're not messing around. This is what we said has to be done in that classroom. And if it's not, you don't play. And it seems like that's really what you're building your program on.
100%. You know, I told the kids that their best ability is their availability. And if they don't have grades, then they're not available to us, you know. And they have no ability to showcase their talents on Friday nights, you know. So if they want to showcase their talents on Friday night, they got to showcase their talent in the classroom first.
You got choppy again, Coach. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know what happened.
It started out good, but
it was working, and then it got choppy.
Sorry.
Oh, wait, now you're good. Whatever you did, you're good. Whatever you did. Try talking.
All right, man.
You're good now. Okay.
All right.
Leave it right there. Perfect. But we'll move on past the great part, because that was good. And tell us about a few of the key guys we should watch out for offensively, defensively, because you got some players that are emerging for you.
Yeah, we got some players that have showcased, man, a lot of talent, you know, coming into the building. One of the first players I recognize is Gabriel Beckham. He's a tall, 6'4", receiver, free safety, athletic kid. We teamed up with Beach Fitness and Performance to run some metrics for us over the summer. And, he turned out, right before we went into camp, he laser timed at a 4.6 40. So, we're expecting a lot of things out of him, both as a receiver and a safety for us this year. A couple other guys, running back wise, we got Francis Hansen, Bo Whitmore, Saeed Thomas. Like, they're going to be a great, triple team, duo, they're going to be that trio back there, at the running back position. So, we're expecting to be able to run the ball, be physical up front. We've got a nice group of offensive linemen. Coach Magwood, who played at Lansdowne back in the day, went on to, play at ODU for a little while, graduated from Middle Tennessee State, and then, had a little stint with the Buffalo Bills and with the St. Louis Battlehawks in the XFL. So he's been a great help for me on the offensive line, getting those guys pushing forward. Defensive line-wise, LaRonde Liverpool, another local 757 kid that played at Lansdowne, went on to play at Wake Forest. Our trenches are going to get work done this year, and we know that that's where the game is won, being physical up front, winning that line of scrimmage.
I love it. Pound the rock, as they say. Play big boy physical football. That's the way to get it done. Although Ed's going to tell you, he tells every new coach, put the flea flicker in, throw it on fourth and whatever. He's already shaking the head. He's going to tell you all these crazy things, which you just shake your head at. I don't know why you're going to tell him that.
Yeah. We'll put it in the triple reverse pass for you, Ed.
Coach, I'm just letting you know. You know more about football than you'll forget more than I ever know. But I'm telling you, in high school especially, and some veteran coaches have taken my advice, you can get away with third and inches, because everybody thinks you're going to go up the middle and we all boom, boom, power football. You fake it to to the center, to the middle. You toss it over top. You have the tackle go out to be tackle eligible, or you run the flea flicker and the wide receiver throws it to the quarterback on the other side because they can't cover that dude in high school. You do what you want. I'm just telling you, it's gonna win you a game somewhere, and you'll be saying, that son of a gun, he may not know anything about basketball, but he's got a player or two in football.
I got you, man. Yeah, we were blessed to have Chowan University here to run a satellite camp, and having them here and being able to sit down with their head coach and their OC. We spent a lot of time, just kind of breaking down, X's and O's. And so that was a beautiful thing, having them here. So we look forward to, moving forward into the next year, having them back and maybe even bringing in a couple other schools, to run some satellite camps here at First Colonial as well.
That's really cool.
Coach,
go ahead, Ed.
I'm sorry, man. I like to ask a lot of football coaches this, because if I was coaching football, I always try to decide how I would do this. We know in pros and college, you have offense, defense, special teams. High school, a lot of high schools can't really do that because of number. The smaller the school, the more those kids have to play all three. And you want your better athletes on the field as much as possible. But then again, you run into fatigue, you run into injury. Football is a smash game. Your philosophy, do you 4 or 5 kids have to play all three, or at least offense, defense? Are you really trying to, can we get offense, defense, and maybe most of the special teams, another group of players, or it's just hard to do that?
No, yeah, my philosophy, I kind of learned this from Coach Ramey over at Ocean Lakes. Really how to platoon the kids, and how to divide them up, so as best as possible. In practice, we're getting best versus best. And we're not sharing too many of the guys. We want to share the least amount of players as we have to. We want to really try to reduce the two-way guys. So if we do need them on special teams, that would be where they kind of fill in, a secondary position. But I've told parents and the kids, that's the most unique thing about football is we got 88 positions to fill, and the kids control their playing time. They got to find a way that they can contribute to the team on Friday night. So special teams, offense, defense, there's somewhere for a kid to step in, take ownership of that position and be the best at it. So, we got a kid that, he comes early, he works on long snapping, he stays late, he works on long snapping. That's the way that he's found himself as a freshman coming in, to earn a starting role on varsity, just by being the long snapper.
No, it matters. My last one for you, and I'll let Ed finish with you, Coach. We thank you for coming on and getting all the technical things ironed out. Is the encouraging thing, you're at First Colonial. They've fallen on some hard times, but they've had success many, many, many years ago. You remember the Frank Webster days. I'm sure you've been told about him too.
Yes, sir.
And you've seen what Kempsville's done here recently. They had the longest losing streak of the state, and then Coach Cherry's gotten that turned around. Is the encouraging thing that challenge is in front of you and your kids, that everybody's expecting the worst, prepare and hope for the best and grind about it, and it can be done because it's happened in your district not too long ago?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I've spoken to the kids about, and having Gunnar White, having Cameron Burris, having, 757 guys on the staff like LaRonde and Eric, they're able to speak, even Coach Otis coming up from Oscar Smith, they're able to speak, and talk about, hey, not very long ago, we remember when Kentsville was 0-77. We remember when Princess Anne was 0-80 something, and we've seen those programs turn around and get into the playoffs, be winners every year, and we've seen it done. We understand what it takes to get it done. And that's our mission here. One of the things, with my job, working with the military is adapt and overcome, so, for the last 30 years, my whole mission has been embrace the challenge, adapt, overcome the obstacle, find a way to win, and that's the mentality here. We're going to find a way to win.
It's a great point, Ed. He just made a good point, because within the last 3 decades, we've had 3 schools in the Beach, Green Run, Princess Anne, Kempsville, all had the longest losing streak in the state, and then make the postseason within the next decade. FC's not in the longest losing streak, but they have the longest playoff drought, and we'll see if they can eventually snap that, whether it's in year 1 or beyond that, under Coach Dinsmoor here at First Colonial at 757 Sports Talk. Ed?
Coach, you work with, of course, you say you're a private contractor for the Navy, so you're not in the building. And a lot of times we look at head coaches as a desire. Like, again, myself as an example, I have to be in the building. at Smithfield, where I'm the basketball coach. I'm a full-time sub because I retired from the teaching part. Do you have maybe a couple of your assistants in the building? And how do you work out that dynamic so you can have that hands-on, quickly got to put out a fire situation if necessary?
Yeah, we got a couple of guys that, like the young guys like Gunner, coming in, doing some, substitute teaching and things like that. So getting guys around the building, all of us, have different roles and what we do, different schedules. So we're all able to kind of come in. One of the blessed things I have is I have a coach on my staff who's actually a little older than me. He's actually he's blessed to be in the retirement stage of his life. So he's really able to be here, a lot when I'm not able to be in the building or be around. So he can be my eyes and ears in the building during the school year, as well as just developing a great relationship with the administration, the assistant principals, the counselors, and just, having an open dialogue with the teaching staff, that I'm always available by text, by phone, by email, and I'm not afraid to engage with the kids and engage with parents. I think, that's one of the things, maybe just being a little bit older coach, dealing with adults, that's where I'm able to excel. I'm not afraid to pick up the phone, call somebody, sit them down, meet with a parent, whether it's here at the school or offsite, just have those one-on-one conversations and, let the kids and the parents know that, we do care about their overall success, and one of my biggest things is that these kids, not all of them are going to be blessed to go on and play college football. They got to have a plan for after high school. And that's one of our driving missions here is what's your plan? When you graduate high school, what's your plan? You can't sit around in mom and dad's basement and play video games all your life. You need a plan to be a successful man, to go out and be a productive citizen in the community. We don't care what it is. You want to go to trade school? You want to come work at the shipyard? I got plenty of connections. We'll get you set up in a trade. If you want to join the military, you can do that. You just want to go on to college and be a regular student, we'll set you up for success that way too. Whatever it is that you want, we want you to have a plan. We got guys on staff that, are into entrepreneurship, so you want to set up a business, let's sit down, let's start having those discussions. Let's start teaching you how to set up a business and what that looks like.
Great stuff here. First Colonial opens up the season coming up on August the 28th against Bayside. Got a couple of preseason scrimmages. You got Woodside for one of them, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll take on Woodside on the 14th, and then we're just going to do a blue and white scrimmage, on the 20th, and just get a little inter squad scrimmage, get ourselves ready for Bayside. We'll have a nice family day, after the scrimmage. Parents out here, just breaking bread together, just continuing to build our bonds.
Awesome. Should be a lot of fun over there at First Colonial under Coach David DJ Dinsmoor. Year one at the helm, 2026 campaign. Thanks so much for coming on the program. I'm sure we'll be around. I might pop in on your scrimmage there with Woodside, and we'll talk down the road.
Matt, thank you. Thank you, Ed. Great to see you guys. Great to hear from you.
You got it. Thank you, Coach.
Congrats to you, Coach. And again, good luck to you. And remember, 3rd and inches, end around, quarterback on that weak side. I'm telling you.
Bootleg, I got you. Naked bootleg, I got you.
You got it. You got it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Good luck,
Appreciate
Coach.
it. Thank you.
DJ Dinsmoor, head football coach of First Colonial, year one at the helm. Should be exciting times there for FC. I think they've been craving for a winner there for a while, and we'll see what can happen there in the Beach District. It is the largest district in the area of the 5, with the eastern, southeastern peninsula, Bay Rivers included, and one of just 2 districts on the Bay Rivers that has a closed schedule, no out-of-district games, except Green Run playing that Huff game out of North Carolina. So there you have it. We'll come back and put the finishing touches on this jam-packed show, Ed. We've gone past noon, but that's quite all right. We've had on Coach Dinsmoor. We've had on Coach Mathis from Petersburg. We've had on Phil Steele, the guru, and Super E. And when we come back, it's something we like to call Parlay Palooza. What's that? It's Parlay Palooza. It's Parlay Palooza.
Well, it's a parlay that has something to do with the palooza, or it's a palooza that has a parlay attached to it. Simple stuff.
You're watching Cova Sports TV with me, Matt Hatfield, and a guy who's anything but simple, Coach Ed Young. Right back with you after this.
Authentic Italian cuisine can be found in just one place in Hampton Roads, Il Giardino Ristorante in Virginia Beach. Il Giardino offers veal, seafood, chicken, pasta, vegetarian, and pizza creations. Add the sounds of the piano bar and lounge, and it's no wonder Il Giardino is such a popular local spot. Open daily at 5 p.m.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Cova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach, Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and YurView, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Cova Sports TV.
Vic, what's the plan at safety? Is that Marcus's job to lose?
I'm going to be like Fauci and just take the Fifth Amendment on questions. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What was the question?
Yeah, you had that lined up.
With Greener down, as you have BG on speed dial, is there any conversations and maybe trying to get him back in here?
I don't know. You guys had Howie up here yesterday. You should have asked him that.
I did.
And what did he say? He ducked you? He Fauci'd you?
He Fauci'd. Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to Fauci me on that?
I'm at the mercy of Howie.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
At the mercy of Howie or Dr. Fauci. Ed's not going to plead the fifth ever on the show.
No, I got something to say. I'm going to say it.
That's been you all your life. Why would you change now? Why would you change now?
Right, exactly. Plus, I'm older. I have the right to do it now. And this Fauci dude, boy, I'm starting to wonder. I thought I was on his side back in the day. Now I'm thinking, if this Joker did what people are saying he did,
Joker did what people say he did. He's a Joker now, huh? He's a Joker.
Well, we'll see what goes on.
We'll see what goes on. By the way, I want to see if I can pull this up here. You haven't talked about this morning the Michael Lombardi situation at Carolina with Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels. I'm sure we'll get another college, one of our favorites. I'm sure David Teal on before the season, but yeah, Lombardi placed on administrative leave at North Carolina. The GM, things are not going too well in Chapel Hill.
Well, I saw that, but they didn't elaborate. So I said, okay, I'm not going to speculate.
Coming out. Yeah, more's coming out is what's going to happen.
So, until it comes out, let's see what did he do? What's coming out that I haven't heard?
Well, you're right. It is just one little bit of information and news. But what we can tell you is that more will come out, and it's not a good thing when your general manager's been placed on administrative leave about a month before the season starts. It's not a good thing, I don't think. Never a good thing.
This Belichick at Carolina, I'm all for him. I respect his career and what he's done. And I thought him taking the Carolina job was crazy because of all this newness, but he was gung-ho about it. And it's really kind of been one stumbling block after another, all from on the field to private life, and which I don't think has anything to do with his coaching. Now you have this because he personally is the one that hired Lombardi as a general manager, which was a new term for college football, college sports in itself, to handle the money side of things. And now it's, like you say, put on administrative leave means something was done that is just not supposed to happen. And that will be a possible bad reflection on Belichick, that I got a feeling that he don't win 8 games this year, and he's not. No. That it'll be a 2-year career at North Carolina.
It might be shorter and not sweeter than some had envisioned for the guy that's not in the Hall of Fame yet, soon to be Hall of Fame coach. He got passed over on his first kick for that.
That was crazy.
But speaking of Hall of Famers, last week I've gotten a lot of great feedback about this. We had her on the show, Delisha Milton-Jones, and here's some of that footage from her getting her jersey retired last Tuesday.
I'm super elated to be in this moment, to be alive, to receive flowers of this magnitude. Just an amazing feeling to have. Whew. Going up in the rafters. My gosh. Monumental.
She's done so many amazing things. Today is her day. Y'all clap it up for Dee. She's a special individual, a special person.
As your jersey goes up in the rafters, right? I just want to say thank you, because you're a big part of the reason why mine is up there. I appreciate you and congratulations.
But I've always been told some things can be greater later, and this was definitely worth the wait. Thank you. And it's something that I'm so damn proud of, because it's a culmination of all of my work, all of my sacrifice, the things that people saw and the things that people will never begin to understand. This moment on this day, still amazing.
So there you heard it, Ed. That was Delisha Milton-Jones, who was on with us last week. If you missed it, go back and find it on Cova Sports TV. Her number 8 up there in the rafters with Lisa Leslie and Candace Parker, who spoke so eloquently about her, along with her husband, Roland Jones Jr. there at the LA Sparks New York Liberty game at Crypto.com Arena this past Tuesday. So really cool for Delisha as she gets ready for year number 7 at the helm of ODU.
Yeah, that was really cool to see. She true people. She really speaks from the heart on some of the things that that she goes over, and to see that and the joy she had by seeing that jersey go up, that's tremendous. And
and people should go check out. She did a press conference. I think it was before, it might have been after the jersey, but she spoke about some of the issues in the WNBA as well. Of course, you addressed them with her too on the show, but she spoke about some things that she likes and does not like as well. She was pretty candid about some of that on with us, but also in the press conference with the media assembled there at Crypto.com Arena. All right. Before we bid adieu, it is time for a little parlay palooza on this episode of 757 Sports Talk. Ed and I were able to find, while we were at Harbor Park, shekels up there on the concourse. No, we didn't steal it. We found some shekels. We found a total of 12 shekels, $12. So we split them in half. 6 for him, 6 for me. Calling it free money. $5 and the sodas, what we called it with Daryl. Last one we did Parlay Palooza. We got $5 for him, $5 for me, and $1 for me, $1 for him. That's how we broke it down, as opposed to 3 and 3 or 6 and 6. So, Ed, let's show the audience your first Parlay Palooza, the $5 one on the screen. There it is. Knicks win the NBA East. Spurs win the NBA West. Milwaukee Brewers win Major League Baseball. And then a couple of playoff makes or misses. You got the Cowboys making it and the Ravens making it. Not really going out on a limb there. And your $5 could win you $13.59.23, which means you could buy Daryl a big gulp at 7-Eleven, but also buy you a couple sandwiches in the process too.
Boy, I can pay some bills with little over $1,300. Oh, I can use it.
It's not bad. Now, as for my $5 Parlay Palooza, you took all those. I'm not going to take them. I'm going to go with the Sixers and LeBron to make the finals and make people's heads explode. I'm not totally sure it's going to happen, but it could happen, and I'm not sure the Knicks get back. I'll take OKC since everybody's taking the Spurs. They are the team that's had the best record like the last 2 years, and they still have the two-time reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Chet Holmgren should be motivated to prove some people wrong, too. Jalen Williams might be healthy this time around. Tampa Bay to win the Major League Baseball World Series just to drive Ed crazy because they're in the same division as his Yankees. The Bengals to make the playoffs out of the AFC, Joe Burrow's got to be healthy now, right? I'm big on guys to be healthy. And the Steelers, who usually make it every year, year after year after year, they're very fortunate to make it last year. New coach, Mike McCarthy, in for the 757 native Mike Tomlin at Denby High School, William & Mary. Aaron Rodgers' the swan song. I say he misses the postseason of the swan song. And that's going to net me 21-30-54. So I can buy a couple more sandwiches than you if all 5 hit. But what about long shots? Everybody loves long shots, don't they?
Yeah, your OKC, your Tampa Bay, Bengals for sure. I kind of lean with the Steelers not making it. The Bengals make it, Steelers probably won't. The one I think is going to kill you is the Sixers. I don't think they win the East.
No, it won't kill me. It'll just make me, whatever it doesn't kill you makes you stronger is what they say, right?
You know, that you're going to waste your $5.
Yeah. By the way, you should be glad I got out of the pool to talk to Phil Steele and finish the show. You should be thankful. I should see. I'm back in the studio now. You should be thankful for that. How about my one? We'll do your $1 long shot first. Here's your $1 long shots. Oh my goodness, Ed. Tell us what we got on the screen there. That's a lot to digest. It's 6 things that have to hit to win you $36,000, which means you'll go to Vegas, Aruba, Bermuda, Mozambique with Lamar Barrett and Super E. That's a lot there if it all happens.
Well, Vegas Aces to win the WNBA now, which I think they can. They have the second best record.
They got Asia Wilson.
Yeah, they got Asia Wilson.
And
Brewers
Becky.
win the World Series if they're picking up Scooble from the Tigers, which I hear is gaining a lot of momentum. That can really help them. Everybody's picking the Rams, which is probably why they won't win the NFL. Spurs will not win the WNBA. Not the WNBA.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a mis typo. You're right. Spurs
Now,
win
if they were in the WNBA, hands down the best pick.
Well, maybe we had our wires crossed with Becky Hammond there, thinking they would win it with Becky Hammond, who used to be on the staff. And the Spurs win the NBA. They win the WNBA. You're doing something special. But there you go. You cut the typo. Good job. We'll fire that intern that typed that up wrong. But what else you got there on the screen?
Well, and then in college basketball this year, UConn women, they're going to be in the mix for sure. A lot of times it comes down to them in South Carolina.
Well, it depends who else is going to get signed from the 2022 class here that just got rolled down. But go ahead.
Right, well, that's true, too. They can bring some of them back. And, of course, Duke men, I think a lot of people are picking them, so that can hurt me because normally when you're overwhelming favorites, it somehow doesn't work out.
Yeah,
so I like
to figure out how to win a close game, which he hasn't done against Houston, and he hadn't done against UConn last 2 years. Yeah.
But, boy, $36,000. Oh, Lord. Ooh, what dreams are made of.
You got a shot at that one. But I like mine better. You know why? Because mine wins $124,000, baby. Read it and weep. Minnesota Lynx, they're going to win it. I got faith in you, Cheryl Reeve. I got faith in you, Olivia Miles. The Lynx are the best. They'll take out Ed's Vegas Aces. They'll take out the Spurs. They come to WNBA too. Rays win the Major League Baseball. I said it earlier. I like their pitching. Junior Caminero. I think they play small ball well. I think they'll make an addition or two here before the deadline comes. Buffalo Bills win the NFL. It's about time that they circle the wagons for being so snake bit. You know, like they're the first team in the history of pro football, I heard, to lose 3 straight years in the playoffs by 3 points or less. That's crazy. They've been so close. Knocking on the door, ready to bust it down. Better defense this year, I think, for the Bills. New head coach, said it works out. OKC wins the NBA. We talked about it earlier. South Carolina women. I got faith in you, Dawn Staley. You lost in the final last year to UCLA, which I predicted. Corey Close with Lauren Beth leading the way. They lost the year before to Paige Beckers, Gino Auriemma, and UConn. 3rd time's a charm to get back to the title game, and they win it this time. And the Houston men. This is the one that scares me because you know how much I loathe. You start laughing. Kelvin Sampson, who grinds his teams to death. Tom Thibodeau-esque, grinds them. But you know what? I look at the landscape and I say, there's so much unpredictable. He's been right there. Maybe he lucks up and finally wins it. If the Knicks can win a championship, why can't he finally win the championship too? 124,000. And if it happens, I will kiss the feet of Kelvin Sampson and say thank you very much.
I do not want to be there because the Lynx can win it easily. Best record in WNBA. Yeah, Tampa Bay winning the World Series, not crazy, especially if they pick up one or two here at the deadline that they really need.
Weak American League, maybe get a good matchup in the World Series with the Dodgers. You never know. Yeah.
Right. Bills, yes. OKC, yes. South Carolina, yes. That I can see it all going well until it's the Houston men, and they'll be in the championship. They'll be in the championship.
Like 2 years ago against Florida and then gagged it away, yeah.
And I can see it now. And you're sitting there saying, because I've been around this dude when he lost $20 bet just to win $20. To lose almost 125,000. Oh my God! I hope I'm not anywhere near it.
Well, listen, it's not. Here's the scary part. You can't hedge this because if it gets to Houston, because you still have to wait for the NBA and OKC afterwards. Now you could try to hedge it, but if you have the Lynx in, Rays in, Bills in, and South Carolina's right there and have a chance to be in, and remember the men's. Usually the championship is, it's the day after the women's. If we get to the championship game or Final Four and Houston's there, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But, they win the Big 12 a lot. They're always in the mix. So it's not that far-fetched.
It's going to be interesting.
But they'll find a way to take a sledgehammer and smash the heart. That's going to do it for this episode of 757 Sports Talk. We thank all of our guests for tuning in. You got that? Woody's getting those, right? Your man Woody?
Well,
he said yes.
He didn't. I don't know. Woody said yes. Did that mean he wants to definitely go?
He said yes.
Woody, are you there? That's the old answer?
That's old answers we had from earlier. Yeah, that's what he said. So you need to connect with Woody.
I don't have none of his information. So, Woody, if you're listening, I need to know, do you want these front row tickets? They're the best. These are $100 tickets for tonight's 6:30 start time.
They're not $100 tickets. Don't lie to the American people.
I didn't pay the $100 for them, but they're $100 tickets. So I got to know, Woody, because if not, I got to go to option 2. I can't use it.
I didn't know that the Tides had $100 tickets. So is it like right behind the dugout?
Right behind the dugout.
Okay. All right, that's going to wrap up this episode of 757 Sports Talk. We thank everybody for tuning in. From the guests to the coach, Ed Young. We'll do it next time, and we'll see if Woody's watching. You know why we'll see if Woody's watching? Because we'll close the show with his favorite thing on the show. We'll see you next week, August the 8th. And again, make sure you tune in on TV too. There are your times. Check your local listings if you're in Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg, Tidewater, or Roanoke. And we'll see you next time. Have a great one.
Alrighty, we're back with joke time. What do you call a crab that never shares its toys? Shellfish. And as you can see, the crab shack has been boarded up.